All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Twidwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell, here inside the Starcade Media Studios with my guy, Trevor Twidwell.
What's good?
Episode 284 is in full swing, full motion. We're so happy to be here with you and for you to be here with us. Whether you're live streaming, podcasting, or YouTubing, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us at this time as we have another awesome show for you guys today. We hope that you guys want to be a part of it because that is what makes everything great here. Week 3 of the NFL season is already in full swing, full motion, just like this episode. So we're going to get to a lot of what we think is going to happen to this Week 3 matchup with the Chiefs and Falcons. We're going to give you guys our full preview prediction of what we think is going to happen in this game in the ATL, if you will. We're also going to give you guys a lot of our thoughts and opinions of what's happened in the NFL so far this season. We're going to give you guys an opportunity to talk with us, like we do every week. It's called Speak It, which is why I'm going to bring up, as I tell you at the top of every single show, tell you at the bottom of every single show, hit us up on youtube.com, hit subscribe, notify, share, all those fun buttons on the Spoken Podcast. But most importantly, we want you to get into the chat today, because as you can hear, my voice is still very much coming back. I'm still very nasally.
And I'm under the weather myself.
Yeah, this season's kicking both of our asses right now, so we need you guys to help us out. Get in the chat today. Get in the live chat. Give us your takes, comments, questions, concerns, whatever you guys have for us today. All things Chiefs, all things NFL, all things MLB, NBA, MMA, whatever you guys have for us, let's talk about it because we will have at least some sort of opinion on it, some sort of take on it, or at least want to hear what your guys' take on it, and then we will take a take off of your take. Whatever it is that you guys want to talk about, we're going to talk about it. Trev, what's going on in your world today? I know you mentioned, man, you're a little under the weather. I feel like we have been kind of taking turns on this now because you're starting to deal with some of the stuff I dealt with last week. My voice is coming back. You don't really have a voice issue, but you got some other shit going on, man. You're a little questionable on the injury report.
The older I've gotten, man, the allergies have just kicked my ass. So today it just it started, rearing its ugly head a little bit with the anytime it goes going from cold to hot or hot to cold and the seasons are changing and the rain's kicking in and we're getting ready to kick into fall here, my allergies just go out of whack. So my health is on the fritz a little bit today, but I'm good. I'll make it. I'm dosed up with some meds, so I'll be all right. But other than that, man, I'm ready to talk some football, ready to talk some Chiefs, ready to recap on this last game, and ready to talk this next game as well, and ready to talk some shit, bro.
Yeah, let's talk some shit for sure, man. We are ready for that. I hope you guys are as well. Hope you guys have an awesome Saturday. We are 1 day, 1 week closer to what we like to call in the Twidwell residents, spooky season.
Yes,
it's almost October, best time of the year.
Best time of year.
Weather's going to start dropping. The temperatures start dropping a little bit.
Sports time of year. Playoff baseball.
Lordy, I'm telling you guys, I become a basic biatch around here.
NBA's about to kick back in.
Start throwing on the mugs, get on the pumpkin spice lattes, go up there to Lewisburg Cider Mill, go over to get my donuts on. That's why I've been losing weight lately, Trevor, so I just gained it all back during the holiday season. That is my total idea. Like, my New Year's resolution is to gain as much weight at the end of the year as possible, and that is something I plan on accomplishing this year.
We all tend to gain a little bit more weight around this time.
And I have so much fun doing it every single year.
It is. A pecan pie, I can't quit it.
Oh, yeah, well, you can have all the fucking pecan pie. I'll have all the apple pie and all the cherry pie and all the stuff that actually tastes good. But shout out to the chat that's already out there. We see Ruben DeCruz, Dustin Orton. You guys are already here with us. Anybody else that jumps in, man, shout out to you guys. We appreciate you guys being a part of what we do here every single week. Drop your questions, drop your takes, whatever you guys have for us, man. But in the meantime, Trevor, without further ado, it is time for Lance Rants. So holy shit, week 2 was a how would I say, a week of upsets, if you will. Maybe one of the greatest weeks of upsets I have ever seen.
Bet the dogs.
Boy, I lost my ass on some bets. And I'm not even like a high-stakes gambler by any means. I'm not a guy that puts out big dosages of money out there. But every ounce of money I put out there, I lost this week.
Cowboys really fucked me.
Man, I mean, everybody. Bro. Even teams that won, like the Chiefs, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But Trevor and I, we like to recap on the week previous because that's something we get a chance to do here on Saturdays before the week incoming. But just a couple games that I want to talk about, man, that I think are very important to what is happening across the NFL. Things we have to pay attention to as the sky, tries to scare the shit out of us.
Zeus is chiming in on the chat.
My God, yeah, he's pissed about week 2 too. He probably lost money as well. So we're sorry. We had to bring it up briefly. Chill, maybe tune in and hear what we're trying to say. We know you're here though. Thank you.
My sins.
Yeah. The first game I want to bring up is it has nothing really to do with the Chiefs technically, but it has to do with what the landscape of the NFC is starting to look like. Because we talked about this last week, Trevor, that I think the NFC can very well be the more interesting conference this year, just from the mystery of it all, just not knowing really who is and who isn't. This Saints team is bewildering.
It's the story of the league so far, man. This team.
We talked about before the season that we both saw them as like a middle tier team that's going to be in every game. They're a tough bunch.
Yeah.
They're not a bullshit roster. They have a decent amount of experienced veterans that are good players. They're going to be like one of those 7-10, 8-9 type of teams that'll just have fun. But nowhere did we envision, Trevor, that through 2 weeks they're going to score almost 100 fucking points.
They've scored on every single possession.
Every single possession.
They have not punted it yet.
That's
insane, bro.
Derek Carr is looking like Peyton Manning out here. I mean, Alvin Kamara is looking like Marshall Faulk. I mean,
top tier efficiency. It's not sustainable, but it's fun to watch right now.
Raheem Shaheed is looking like prime Deshaun Jackson. It's so wild what we're seeing with this team. And yes, you're right. I don't believe it's sustainable anymore. I don't think they're going to continue to do this. My point, though, is what they're doing, we have to give respect to. Because, yes, they did this week 1 against the Panthers. We all know the Panthers suck.
Yeah.
They're terrible. Even Trevor now knows that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
When they
go into Dallas, a team that hasn't lost a regular season game at home in 2 years,
dude,
and have dominated their opposition in 2 years, they get their cheeks clapped 44-19 in Dallas, where this was an absolute onslaught from the beginning.
Although the Cowboys are known to have massive letdown games at home for some reason. Just last in the postseason. The last 2 games at home, they've gotten slaughtered.
Yeah, but they usually wait till the postseason for that to happen.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like in the regular season, they were 16-0 in their last 16 regular season home games.
I think the craziest thing with the Saints too is how good their offensive line is.
They look fantastic.
You look at the roster and it's like a bunch of guys that are not good.
Right.
But as a unit, they're just playing well. They're getting the ball out fast, and this is what I expected. Honestly, this is why I liked the Saints when Derek Carr first went there.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a good team. Like, this is a good fit. I think he's got some good weapons. They drafted Chris Olave. I like this. I like the way they used Taysom Hill, even though it's annoying for fantasy purposes, but it's fun because he's a great athlete, and it's fun to watch how he just gets work in different ways. But now they're finally starting, the Kubiak offense over there is
Clint Kubiak.
Yeah, dude.
Remember that name.
It's Shanahan-esque. It's the same tree, and they know how to get guys in space. And Rashid Shaheed has been an absolute weapon for them, and it's fun to watch. It's not going to last because teams are eventually going to figure out defensively, and Derek Carr is going to eventually come back down to earth because he's not this good or this efficient. But right now, man, they're riding hot, and it's fun to watch, man.
It's fun to watch.
Especially with the scoring being down and everything. This is the team that's outside them and the Bucks, obviously, are the 2 teams that are lighting the league on fire offensively, and it's fun to watch, man. I like it.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, this is always the way I look at things, Trevor. When a matchup like this takes place and we see results like this, I always ask the question, who is this more about? Like, who did this tell us it's more about them and who they are as opposed to who they're not? I think this game told us more about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Reason why I say that is because the week previous, we see the Cowboys go into Cleveland and whoop Cleveland's ass. The next week they come home feeling good about themselves and get destroyed. And here's my thing. I'll just say it now. I think the Cowboys beat the Ravens this week.
I do too.
I think the Cowboys win this game outright.
Yeah.
And I think that the Cowboys are going to be one of those teams, like I said, remember I predicted this, they're going to be up and down all year long. 9-8. That's the kind of team I see them being because they're a roster that is talented, but they did nothing all offseason to better it. And that is why you have to constantly add more to the equation if you want your team to improve. They are a team that won 3 straight seasons of 12 wins, exactly 12 wins. And now they look like a team that is very much on the dissension because they're not consistent. The only thing they're consistent with is inconsistency. Because like I said, these 2 games so far are the tailor opposites of each other. At least the Chiefs have won 2 games that are almost the exact same way, where it's like squeaking out victories against teams that have been playoff contenders.
Well, I mean, we've placed 2 top-tier teams off the bat, and we ended up 2-0 on that. But I mean, this is week 2 and week 3 is where you kind of start to decide. You pick a side on what the trend is looking like. And I think the Cowboys is one of those teams they're known to kind of be streaky, and they're known to kind of be a front running offense a lot of times too, which is why I think their numbers were skewed a little bit as the top offense in the league last year. They were front runners a lot of times in those games where they're just blowing people out and they just kept piling it on. Chiefs are the opposite of that, but I think the Cowboys have a lot to prove. This is a massive game for the Ravens. Just looking ahead in this game against the Ravens that you brought up, this is the game of the week for me because there's just so much. Because the Ravens, if they go 0-3, they're most likely missing the postseason. Right. Granted, they're in a better spot than we actually think because of the Bengals' slow start too, and the Browns really don't look good. The Browns might be bad. I mean, their defense.
Yeah, they might be 3-1 this week.
But Myles Garrett is banged up and he might miss this week too. So that's an ongoing issue. The Browns can fall apart pretty quickly too if Deshaun doesn't get any better. And Amari Cooper has been a no-show so far this season. There's a lot of things in that division that is up for grabs. The Steelers might run away with the division. Who knows? Probably not. But man, this game between the Ravens and the Cowboys is a massive one. I think the Cowboys can afford to lose this one more than the Ravens. Obviously, going 0-3 is rough, especially in the AFC. But yeah, I'm excited to see which one of these teams really bounces back because it was an unacceptable loss. Both teams are coming off unacceptable losses, and I would say the more embarrassing one was probably the Ravens, though, losing to the Raiders in the way they did. They had to lead the entire game, and then you blow it.
10-point lead going to the fourth
Raiders
quarter
against Gardner Minshew.
10-point lead.
In a rookie tight end, Brock Bowers, who was just destroying
at home.
Oh my God, that was. I could not believe they lost that game. That was rough, especially John Harbaugh being a great coach as he is, losing that game to Pierce.
Yeah,
that's wild to see. That's a bad sign for what the season. If you want to talk about trends, that's a trend that if they lose this week and they get their ass kicked,
I try to say this beginning of the year, man.
No, you might be right, and I just took the talent of, and I didn't put into factor all the changes on that team, and that offensive line is really bad. And this dude, Micah Parsons might go have a field day against them. It could be a bloodbath. And if Dak is on his game and CD has a bounce back game, shit, this could be a bloodbath. But,
and you did mention the Ravens have the 32nd ranked pass defense.
And they have names all over the secondary, and they're just
Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton,
Gardner Minshew out there dicing them up. It's wild to see. But
it's almost like McDonald had a good defensive coordinator thing going on out there, and now he's in Seattle. Matchups. They look good. Seattle looks good. I ain't gonna lie. Dude, Seattle looks good.
Geno looks awesome. Yeah. Outside of that weird start with the double safety game, that was weird, but against Denver, but. Since then, my God, Geno looks awesome, bro.
And I think they're gonna this week. I forget who the Seahawks play.
Geno's completing like 76% of his passes right now.
Yeah, he's
like 76 completion rating. It's insane. And JSN's coming along. JSN had like 17 targets a week ago or something like that.
Oh yeah, they have the Dolphins coming to town. So Dolphins are flying cross country with Skylar Thompson.
I like that. I like Zach Charbonnet, the running back for the fill-in for Ken Walker.
That's gonna be a blow-up spot. But I think DK Lockett and JSN came along this week.
That defense at home against Skylar Thompson.
Pin their ears, yeah.
Gosh.
Pin their ears. I think McDonald's going to just send the dogs, man. A couple other games I want to talk about before we get to the Chiefs-Bengals that I have to talk about real quick. As Trevor mentioned briefly, I'm going to briefly mention this. The Buccaneers, 2-0. Going into the Lions did and winning that game, and the Lions have all this hype this season.
Bro, from last year, yeah.
We also talked about this though too, Trevor. We weren't impressed. You and I were not impressed by the Lions in week 1.
They haven't looked good,
and we are definitely not impressed by them in week 2. And here's the thing: I think Ben Johnson
even worse week 2.
Yeah, Ben Johnson's overthinking things. I think Ben Johnson, knowing that he's got this coach and waiting to somewhere other team, somebody's going to pick him up as the next head coach.
Yeah,
I think he's now trying to flex muscle a little bit because now you're seeing in the red zone they're throwing the ball.
Yeah, and
run the damn ball.
Bro, Goff has looked bad.
You have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah,
run the ball. What are you doing? And you have Aiden Hutchinson, who's 5-sack performance and a loss. What is this? Derek Thomas reincarnated.
There's a nickname going around the fantasy world right now. They're calling Jared Goff the Domester Fire. Because he's usually so good in domes, bro, but he's been awful in the domes and awful at home, so they call him the Domester Fire.
I like that.
Bro, he looked awful, man. Yeah, and he threw like the ball 50 times.
But credit to Baker Mayfield and this offense and what they're doing with the Buccaneers.
My boy Bake looks awesome.
I just love what they're doing. I right now, if I made a bet, Trevor, because I didn't have the Bucs in the playoffs, I think they're going to make the playoffs. If they stay healthy, I think the Bucs are a playoff team. They just look too good offensively.
They could win the division, bro.
Yeah. I
like them better than Atlanta right now, and I picked Atlanta, but if I'm changing my bet, I'm betting on the Bucs.
I'm gonna stick with my Atlanta pick.
Yeah, I am too. I'm just saying, but like
Big Show looks like he's really found his place.
Comfortable.
Mike Evans still looks like Mike Evans. Chris Godwin's been unbelievable this season. Rashad White's the most underrated running back in football. I don't care what anybody says.
When healthy, he's banged up right now.
He is so
Bucky
good.
Irving,
Bucky Irving.
Bro, that rookie's
even Otten's a good player, like a good tight end.
Yeah.
Like they have good weapons.
The other
offensive line.
rookie receiver they brought in too looks pretty damn good.
Right. So shout out to the Bucs, man, for what they're doing down there in Florida, man. They're doing things. Two other games I want to talk about real quick. I got to give Trev credit here, man. I didn't believe in this team this year. I thought they were a year away, but the Vikings look legit.
Dude,
they're banged
Sam
up.
Darnold, bro.
They're banged up, but Sam
confident.
Darnold is. I don't know how else to say it, guys, because I know this sounds hyperbolic, but I'm just gonna say he's balling.
Dude, and that defense.
Dude's balling.
Their
defense looks good.
Yeah, man. It was just wild because they don't have a bunch of talent. They've got some young. They drafted well.
It's too early. It's too early to make like award predictions.
Yeah.
I think O'Connell's the head coach of the year right now.
That's what I'm telling you, bro. That's why I liked them against the Niners. That was my upset pick.
Man, you nailed that.
Yeah.
And Brian Flores, let's give that man some credit.
Dude,
because you heard
those
Brock Purdy
packages are
you heard
insane.
Brock Purdy after the game. He was mic'd up when they're all on the field hugging and stuff. He looked at Brian Flores. He goes, "Dude, your scheme is insane. Like he couldn't pick up anything."
Between him and Spags, like the way those exotic blitzes that they'll bring a safety or a corner out of nowhere. The stunts and all. Dude,
he had Brock Purdy
so fun.
shook.
Yeah,
Brock looked shook, and I'm not the biggest Brock guy either, so it wasn't like it shocked me that Brock could have a bad game because, guys, I'm telling you, Brock is not the
you get him
quarterback
off script. He's pretty mediocre. Yeah.
And I got to give the Vikings credit. 2-0. Trevor, you and I have a lot of family that are Vikings fans up north.
They look good, man.
I got to give them credit, man. I don't know what's going to happen to this Texans-Vikings game because I don't know the availability of Justin Jefferson and Addison.
Yeah.
I don't know what the availability is. I'm sure Justin Jefferson will play.
Two ankle sprains. So,
yeah.
I mean, he's trying to play through that. But they drafted that other kid, too, Naylor, I like a lot, too. He looks awesome. And they're going to get Hawkinson back in a few weeks, probably.
I think if Justin Jefferson plays, I like the Vikings.
And Aaron Jones has looked good. He had a fumble last week, but he's looked pretty good. And they got Ty Chandler, the other running back, who I like a lot.
Yep. And like you said, this defense, surprisingly, like Harrison Smith found the fountain of youth. Dude's like 35 years old out there still playing.
The secondary isn't great, but they are very good at creating pressure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you can create pressure with good blitz packages and which obviously Flores knows how to do that can make up for a lot of lack of talent in your secondary.
Right.
And that's what they're doing right now. And Sam Darnold, man, I think is the key cog here. He's confident and comfortable. When you can get your quarterback confident and comfortable, and you know he has a cannon and he can get away with it, and he's got Justin Jefferson to rely on, it's a good formula, man. And I think, like you said, I think O'Connell is one of the better offensive-minded coaches in the league right now.
Well, and I know this isn't week 2, but this is week 3, and it's the first game of the week. We have to acknowledge, Trevor, what you and I had predicted, and I think it's finally showing. This Jets team's for real. And
finally,
the reason why
they finally showed us what they look like, like a promising game here.
Yes, and I know. Look, I'll preface this. I know it was against the Patriots, who probably have the worst offense in football.
Who beat the Bengals? But yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like in a long season,
they have a good defense.
Yeah,
though.
the Patriots are going to be a bad offense though. They got Jacoby Brissett and a bunch of nobodies out there.
I think Drake May will be starting by like week 7.
Having said that, though, that wasn't the story of this game. It was the fact that, like you said, against a very good defense,
my boy.
Aaron Rodgers looked like 2011 Aaron Rodgers.
So good, man. Scrambling.
Look, guys, I've been the one that says that I don't believe Aaron Rodgers is ever going to be that guy again. I think he's going to be like a good 36 to 3,700, 26, 27 touchdown guy.
But timing and precise throws, dude.
But if that dude's him, like if he plays like that like 10 more times this season, the Jets can win the 1 seed.
Yeah, especially against lesser defenses too. That's one of the better defenses he's going to face this year.
I mean,
defense.
They won the game 24-3. Aaron Rodgers completed 27 to 35 passes. That's 77%, 281 yards, 8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions with a 119 quarterback rating. And here's the biggest reason why, Trevor, I feel so big about this Jets team this year. If you look at the rest of their schedule, how about next week? They host Denver.
Yeah.
How about the week?
Defense is going to go off.
They have a tough game coming up after that, though. It's at Minnesota.
Yep.
But then they have the Buffalo Bills at home, which I love the Jets in that game. Then they go to Pittsburgh, which again, Pittsburgh has a really good defense, but their offense is just as bad as the Patriots.
If they match up with games like the Bills and the Steelers, they match up with teams like that because those teams want to play slow too.
Yes.
You get me in a slow, slobber
the ball.
knocker kind of game, you're going to grind it out. Aaron Rodgers, give me the ball with in Aaron Rodgers' hands to win that game.
So after they go to Pittsburgh, then they go to the Patriots, and again, that's I think that's a dub.
Yeah.
They have the Texans at home, though. It's in New York.
That's a tough game.
Then at Arizona. Then they have the Colts coming home. Their bye week.
Colts defense.
Then they have the Seahawks coming to their place. So the Seahawks travel across country. Then they have the Dolphins in Miami. Jacksonville and Jacksonville. The Rams, and we have no idea where the Rams are going to be. They have to fly
at that time. What are they going to look like?
Yeah, the Rams have to fly cross country to them in New York. And then they have at Buffalo, and then Miami at home. So I just named off like 7-8 winnable games right there.
I think it really comes down to them winning these divisional games.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's going to be some, that Texans game is going to be tough because that Texans team might be the best roster in football right now.
And look, the Bills look fine right now. But
they look really good. I'm
still don't buy it in the Bills. And the biggest reason why is attrition.
Well, and Josh Allen's health, too. He's already got a hand issue.
And it's their defense.
Their running game has been so good, bro.
How long is this going to last? Is James Cook going to stand up all year?
Well, and they've had a couple, like last week's game against the Dolphins was a fluky kind of game. I mean, there was injuries. Tua couldn't have been worse.
Yeah.
He kept giving the ball away, and they're throwing to guys that had just gotten the roster, trying to make what do you just throw the ball to Tyreek and Waddle? Like what are we doing?
That's what I'm saying. And I think because of the injuries, the Bills are still succumbing to.
That scheme is so good, though, man.
Yeah, it is
so good.
I think the Buffalo. I think they're finally going to succumb to their injury. I think, dude, I'm going to say it now. I think the Jets sweep the Bills.
Ooh,
I think the Jets sweep the Bills. I think now the Jets have their own injuries. Morgan Moses is down, but it's only supposed to be a couple weeks.
Yeah, you got to protect Rodgers, man. Give him time.
Yeah, by the time they face the Bills for the first time, Morgan Moses will be back. So if the Jets do stay healthy, I think they roll through this division, man. I really do. So
that's what I picked them as. I picked them as just owning this division. That's how I had them winning this division because they do have some tough outer divisional games, but yeah, man, I loved what I seen out of Rodgers, bro. It was just as a football fan, as a diehard fan of Aaron Rodgers, it was just good to see. He looked like vintage Rodgers out there, just rolling out, making those throws, throwing across his body over the middle to his tight end. That was just, he looked so good, bro. And the ball were on the money. Him and Garrett Wilson are still a work in progress, trying to get that timing down, but he makes Lazard look like an actual football player, which is cool to see. He's got his guys, and he always makes his guys look great and better than they are, but I mean, yeah, dude, Lazard's got 3 touchdowns on the year already.
Right.
It's wild. So I mean, Rodgers just is a star maker. He makes receivers out of guys that are pretty mediocre, and it's just this defense has got to get better though. I know they had a good defensive outing against the Patriots, but this defense still got to get better. Sauce Gardner's got to be a little better. I know they didn't have much of a challenge offensively against the Patriots, but you go against the Strouds and the Josh Allens. This defense has got to be better getting pressure on guys. But that offense, what I saw out of that offense looks good. And how about Braylon Allen too, just to throw that out there. 20 years old, the youngest player in the league, can't even buy a beer yet, out there running over grown men.
Yeah.
That running tandem over there and for the Jets is nasty, bro. Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. So I'm loving what I'm seeing out of that.
And of course, we have to briefly go over it. You guys are fully aware the Chiefs squeaked out an absolute, nail biter against the Bengals, as most of us should have known. As always, this game, just for whatever reason, between these two teams, just cannot be more than a one-score game.
Yeah, I see your 3-point game, and I raise it a 1-point game. Like, God,
you guys know, if you watched our show last week, Trevor and I were very confident the Chiefs are going to win this game by double digits because, quite frankly, they should have. They came into this game as the better team, probably still the healthier team, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
And they had home field, feeling good after a very close victory against the Ravens. You had 10 days to prepare, and that's what the Chiefs put on the field. And I said it right after the game. I said, look,
you just have to accept it, man.
The Chiefs look like absolute shit this week.
We don't cover fucking spreads, bro.
The defense couldn't get consistent pressure on Burrow. Patrick Mahomes, for whatever reason, just I think I know, and I have to give credit to Lou Anarumo because he just schemes so well against Patrick when he just drops everybody back and just forces Patrick to just take everything that's safe, and Patrick doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And you saw that when he tried to get greedy on that down throw to Xavier Worthy, and Cam Taylor-Britt just picked it off beautifully.
I mean, give credit where it's due, bro. That was one of the best interceptions I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was insane.
The thing about it is it just, I'm so over this pressing that Patrick does against the Bengals. For whatever reason, he just wants, it's like he gets panicky. And you saw his first interception. I'm not going to dwell on it too long because the Chiefs won the game ultimately. Yeah. But he's in a clean pocket, and he throws it right to a linebacker in the middle of the field. I just
2 weeks in a row, same kind of interception, bro. It's like he has a blind spot there.
And I really wish I could understand what it is. I really wish I could understand what is in the psyche of Patrick Mahomes against Lou Anarumo, but it just seems to always be a difficulty. But like I said, this game was very unnecessarily close due to multiple turnovers from the Chiefs. But I know that the biggest conversations we're taking away from this game are obviously the injuries we'll get to in a second. But the controversial plays, Travis Kelce still not having a big game, only one catch for 5 yards.
He had a big play call
that
back.
Was negated, exactly.
That would have changed some things.
But I want to briefly just go over the penalties here. Anybody that really thinks, first of all, that penalty is what cost the Bengals the game, you're incorrect. Because of the fact that on a previous drive, Joe Burrow coughed the ball up that cost them 7 points. Not just a possession, but 7 points because Jamar Connor housed it. So,
what about the previous play where we got penalized?
Right.
Hands to the face, and we had to move back from fourth and short to fourth and long.
Patrick, that was, I think it was the Travis Kelce conversion. That was Rashee Rice.
That was the play directly before that one.
Right.
That we got penalized and made it fourth and forever. So what do we?
And again, you see the replay. There's no denying that was pass interference. It was clear as day that Rashee Rice did not have a legit chance of catching that ball. He was rocked in the back of his head before the ball ever got there. And let's be honest, guys, that was making up for a previous play where Rashee Rice was going to get the ball, but was hit before the ball was even close to him, and there was no penalty there. Or when McDuffie gets pulled down from Jamar Chase, and they call DPI on Trip McDuffie.
Right, he pulled him. That was fucked up.
Let's be real here, guys. And I know that some of you Bengals fans out there, I'm not going to talk shit, because I don't like to talk shit to other fans unless you're a Raider fan.
I'd be frustrated too. I get it.
But I understand that you guys have some of these like still photos of like Trey Hendrickson getting held, things like that. But that happens all the time because, guys, I can match each one of those with Chris Jones being held. Because I saw about 12 times that game Chris Jones was held.
Yeah.
Chris Jones gets held on almost every single play.
Bro,
so get in line with that bullshit.
George Karlaftis was getting held numerous times in that game too. I was calling it out.
Yeah, get in line with that bullshit, guys. That's going to happen all the time.
You can't call it. I mean, the game would be we had 5-hour football games if they were calling all of those.
And so, they got in field goal range, and we all know the best kicker in the NFL right now, and maybe historically, Harrison Butker sunk it without. I mean, we knew, Trevor. You and I were sitting there, we're like, this game's over. He's gonna nail
missing
this.
That shit, bro. Especially against the Bengals, he's putting them away, bro.
And Harrison Butker now trails Justin Tucker by like 0.3% in all-time field goal percentage for best all-time. Yeah. They're both at 89%, but Harrison's like 89.3 and Justin Tucker's like 89.6. So he's right behind him for the best all-time. Harrison Butker is coming for the crowd, guys. I'm telling you, this dude is worth every penny he got this offseason. You can have disagreements on what he stands for. I definitely do on some of the things he says. Doesn't matter. It's football, and this dude's a badass motherfucker.
As long as his wife's in the kitchen doing her thing, bro, he's kicking these field goals. Keep my man up.
She's in the kitchen, and he's in the kicking. You know what I
mean? Kitchen and kicking, baby. Let's go.
Kicking. We're doing our thing here, guys. We all got our roles, right? No, like I said, we can sit and have a separate conversation about those things. We're talking about football right now, and there's not a single guy in this league that I would rather have kicking the football for the Chiefs than that dude, Harrison Butker.
Best leg in the game, baby.
Yeah.
All three of them.
Now, we have to obviously address the dark side of this whole thing, and we can put it up on the screen real quick, Trevor. We got the news this week, obviously, that star running back for the Chiefs, Isaiah Pacheco, suffered a pretty brutal injury. It was confirmed that he broke his fibula. I work in the medical field.
Been there.
We see these all the time, and I'm telling you guys, when I heard that, I knew that the Chiefs are going to be missing him till probably around Christmas. That's at the best. It depends on the severity of the break. I can tell you guys, I'm no expert, but I'm around it a lot of times. I know the verbiage of broken fibulas.
I broke mine.
And these are not athletes, by the way.
Stuffs.
Yeah, Trevor's had one as well. I'm around non-athletes. These are people that are going to be going back out there and running around and getting hit by 300-pound men.
Yeah.
And it takes these people every bit of 2 to 3 months to heal. It's going to take every bit of Isaiah Pacheco. Luckily, he's still young. His bones are bendable still. He's still a young guy. He should heal just fine. He'll be fine. It's not like this is going to end his career or anything like that.
Might end this season, though, unfortunately. Yes. Yeah.
But there is a real chance, guys, we don't see him maybe at all.
Yeah.
But maybe at the earliest, like the wild card or the divisional round. Now, if the Chiefs obviously get the 1 seed, that gives him an extra week of rest. Maybe he goes back for the divisional round. But if you were prepared to see Isaiah Pacheco at any point this season, I hate to break it to you guys, but it's more likely we've seen the last of him this season, but let's hope for the best. The good about this, though, is it forced the Chiefs' hand to make a decision that they should have made a long time ago. In fact, they should have never had to make the decision, but I'll get to that in a second. Trevor, you go ahead and put the picture of the man who's now returned home.
Let's go.
There is the one and only Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let's go, baby.
If you guys know me, and I was on Arrowhead Allies this week with my guys Clint, Noah, and Shane, and we had a very truthful conversation about this one because we know this has been one of the more polarizing conversations in Kansas City over the last several years when it comes to Kareem Hunt and the decision the Chiefs ultimately made back in 2018, middle of the season, when we got the video obtained of him in his Cleveland apartment and the situation where that woman went down.
Yep.
The thing, I said this to Shane and the guys on the show, and you guys can watch it for yourselves if you want to, but I'm here to talk to Trevor about it now. We have a longer time to expand on this show than we do on Arrowhead Allies. I'm happy as hell that Kareem Hunt's back. I could not be happier. I was the guy that never gave up. I was every single season bring Kareem Hunt back.
4 years too late, but yeah.
Yeah, bring him back. I've been saying this, and I've had people DM me, dude, he was a piece of shit. He's an asshole. Why would you want him back? He's a woman beater. He's all these things. I would listen to all these people say these things. And I just kept saying it. The Chiefs have to bring him back. And then they do. And I would have thought, oh, man, this happened. It's what I've wanted. It's what I'm asking forever. I should be happy as hell this happened, right, guys? But there was a bittersweetness that came to me. I was super stoked, but I was also very pissed off. And I have to call the Chiefs out. Biggest reason why? Well, it's simple. The Chiefs are a franchise that are known to care about morals and tactics and, or tactfulness and, being represent the franchise the right way. They like guys like that. At least that's what they claim. And if you remember correctly, it wasn't because of what happened in the video that the Chiefs cut Kareem Hunt. They cut Kareem Hunt because he lied about being involved in what happened in the video before they actually obtained it. Yeah. So the Chiefs were taking a moral high ground with Kareem Hunt and said, look, you'll play in this league again, but you won't play with us. And let him walk. And then we got the sad video of him on the highway with the cop in Cleveland when he got pulled over and said, man, I should be playing in the Super Bowl. Like, this hurts my soul. This hurts my heart. And I heard it right along with him. Because Kareem Hunt should have never been cut. If the Chiefs felt, slighted in any way or felt betrayed in any way, they should have suspended the young guy and said, you won't play for us for the rest of the season or for X amount of games, but this is how we're going to handle this. Instead, they took the moral high ground and cut him. And for years now, we've heard the Chiefs, or at least people in the know, when it came to the potential of bringing Kareem Hunt back, the Chiefs have closed that door. The Chiefs, there was a trust broken between both parties, and they just can't trust Kareem again. And I had to hear this for 5-6 years now. And what do you know? Now that Isaiah Pacheco's hurt, and he probably will be gone for the year, and the Chiefs have no depth at all at running back, now morals all of a sudden don't matter. Now all of a sudden it's, we got to do what's best for the team. Oh, so now morals don't really take account when it comes to what's best for the team. It's just filling a role and filling with a guy that can play in this offense at a high level. Now, we can debate on what Kareem Hunt's going to bring to this team, and we can do that in a second. But I find it funny that now all of a sudden the Chiefs are cool with bringing him back. And people have been telling me all week, well, Lance, time has passed. He's kept his nose clean. That's not the point I'm trying to make here. I'm talking about how the Chiefs handled it from the beginning and now are willing to put all that aside because it's an act of desperation. Because, as my guy, Noah Groniger, said on the show, and I'm not going to steal his thunder at all, I want you to go listen to him talk about it because he added to my point on all this. It's funny how they cut Kareem Hunt for that situation and lying about it. But then the quarterback for the Raiders, I forget his name, and I don't really care to know his name, was wielding guns on IG Live talking about he's going to kill people, and the Raiders cut him, and the Chiefs signed him. Or our guy, who we love very dearly here, but let's just call it as it is, Rashee Rice, could have very well killed several people on a reckless driving accident just this year. And the Chiefs did nothing about it. He's still on the team. He's playing. So how do we, where's the line? How do you differentiate here? Is it only when it comes to lying to the Chiefs that they actually say, okay, that's it. We can't handle that. Reckless endangerment on cars, fleeing the scene, wielding guns, threatening people's lives. We can handle that.
Let alone he was on the run hiding from the authorities until we found out he turned himself in.
But somebody fibs about something? And that's going to be it, huh? So what upsets me all about this, and again, I'm very happy that Kareem's back. I'm upset with the fact he should never have been gone. He should have been a part of this dynasty all along. I feel heartbroken for him that he didn't get his opportunity to be a part of what's taken place over these last 5 to 6 years. Because the Chiefs clearly are telling us that based on their now morals, he could have been a part of this all along. It needed to be an act of desperation if only it was a couple of years ago that Isaiah Pacheco got hurt.
Yeah.
Then we would have had him 2 years ago. So that's what I'm confused about. Quite frankly, I think it's very hypocritical on the Chiefs side of things. I know a lot of people push back on this, but I'd love for people to tell me different because that's exactly how it looks to me. Trevor, you and I haven't really talked about this at all this week, but I'd love to get your thoughts on this whole situation as a collective.
No, I mean, you're completely right. This is the classic what could have been scenario. What he could have done in this offense, like you talked about in our group chat, like what this dude could have done. His numbers, the pace he was on in this offense was special. I mean, the dude was the league leading rusher in his rookie season. And what he was doing in this offense just from out the gate, after that first fumble against the Patriots, the dude didn't look back. He was incredible, arguably the best running back in the league at that time. So I mean, in the fall off, he had several issues off the field after that scenario, which is what kind of honestly boost the Chiefs' case in a slight way because he had other altercations off the field after the fact after he left. So that is not as more damning for Kareem Hunt personally, but I think it's been a long time since he's had any issues or his name's been in the news at all for several years now, which is good. And the word is, that he still has juice, he still has a lot left in the tank, which for me, like I'm trying to be optimistic about that's true. I'm a little more on the pessimistic side about this. Just him being 29, going on 30, didn't look too good his last season in Cleveland, if I'm being honest, and nobody grabbed him. When Dalvin Cook's getting on the rosters and other guys, are out there getting picked up and, other running back needy teams had no interest in Kareem Hunt. Granted, fit matters too. Scheme matters too. He can walk in. He knows the scheme. He knows Andy Reid. He knows a lot of these guys in this locker room and be welcomed back. And it's a perfect scenario for him to have some kind of resurgence later in his career. I love Kareem Hunt. I love his running style. I think I said it when we were watching games, watching Carson Steele. I think Carson Steele has a little bit of Kareem. He doesn't have the speed that Kareem Hunt has. He's a 4.7 guy, so he's not fast. But the way that they run through guys, it's like hammering a nail. You don't hammer the nail to hit the nail. You hammer the nail to hit the nail through whatever you're trying to drive it into.
Right.
These guys are drivers. They drive through bodies. So I love that running style and having Kareem Hunt to kind of work with Carson Steele. I kind of like that dynamic there. So yeah, I mean, listen, Kareem Hunt, 4th round guy, out of Toledo, there wasn't much expectations for him coming into this league. And he exceeded those immediately. And his career has kind of been a roller coaster since, his departure here in Kansas City, which is tough to watch because like that video you talked about with the police, I should be in the Super Bowl. I should have rings, blah, blah, blah. That was tough to watch, man. Because your heart's attached to that guy. You love that guy. I'm the same way for me and Tyreek. I wish Tyreek was here winning championships with us still. I mean, I hate the fact he was talking shit after he left, but I still love Tyreek to death. I love those guys that are a part of changing the culture and jumpstarting this new era of Chiefs football. Tyrann Mathieu, same thing. I love all those guys. So it's it was tough seeing that for Kareem, that kind of downfall, his personal life and for a stint there. But listen, man, having him back, and if he has if he goes out there and has at any point in this year has a 2 touchdown game, 100 rushing yard game, I'm gonna fanboy out because I'm probably gonna cry happy tears for the dude, man. To be honest with you, I love stories like that. I love reunions. Don't always work. They don't always work. We've had McCoy come to Kansas City and try to play with Shady McCoy coming over here trying to play with Andy Reid again, and it fell flat. And he was awful. He got benched. He was in the doghouse. It was awful. that could happen too. That is an outcome that could definitely happen here again, similar to that one. But I still do think Kareem Hunt he shared the ball a lot. He wasn't the bell cow over there in Cleveland when he was there. He shared the ball with arguably the best running back in football when healthy, and Nick Chubb. So he still has a lot of tread on his tires. I do believe that, and I still think he doesn't need to be some barn burner speed kind of guy. Kareem Hunt is, like I said, a guy that just always moving forward. Spencer Ware didn't have top tier speed, but Spencer Ware was great in this backfield because he was always moving forward, falling forward, pushing his legs. Guys like that thrive in this kind of offense, and I think having a Kareem Hunt, like I said, with Carson Steele, is only a positive for this backfield, and there's a must to get another body back here because I didn't know who else we were going to believe in, and bringing a guy that has had massive success in the past with this offense just makes all the sense in the world to me. So I'm welcoming Kareem back and with open arms, man. So I'm hoping this could add some juice to this running back room.
This is the part that I really want to talk about real quick, guys. Then we're going to move forward, but because I know you're taking the more pessimistic side.
Yeah.
But
I'm just trying to be safe.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
You have every right to feel that way because let's be real. Like Kareem Hunt hasn't necessarily been the statistical juggernaut that he was in his 3 years in Kansas, or 2.5 years he was in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Or 2 years.
I mean, the Browns chose Jerome Ford and Deontay Foreman over him.
Like you said, I think it was also a fit thing. But here's the other thing that people didn't know about. I don't know if you knew about this term, but Andy Reid disclosed some information. Before last season started, Kareem Hunt had a sports hernia surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And we know
he's been dealing with injuries the last couple seasons. Yeah.
We know how serious that injury can be for a guy, and it takes sometimes up to a year to fully recover from that.
Yeah.
But even with that, did you know that Kareem Hunt, on just 150 touches total, had 9 touchdowns last season?
He's dude, that's what I'm saying. Like guys like him and Carson Steele are going to be incredible for the red zone.
Yeah.
And short yardage, like third and shorts. I truly believe, and this is more of my Carson Steele love than it is bringing Kareem Hunt back, because I already kind of had faith in Carson Steele, what I think he could be in this offense. I think having two guys like that, I'm telling you, if you watch Carson Steele run, it's very similar to the way Kareem Hunt runs. Their legs are tree trunks, right? They're kind of guys that is always moving forward. I think him and Carson Steele could really, really solve a lot of red zone woes. Keep it simple, run the football right now. Move the chains. I think those two guys are going to be they could be a nasty tandem, especially if Kareem Hunt still has juice, bro. So I agree with you. The red zone, Kareem's always been a great guy on the goal line. So I mean, him getting touchdowns, I'd be surprised if he ended the season with 6-7 touchdowns. Just us being in the red zone as much as we are. Right. I think he's going to help solve a lot of that for sure.
Well, I ran a poll this week, and I asked the question. We don't have the figure there, so I apologize for that. But just hear me on this, guys. You can find it on my Twitter account at Lance Spoken. Which running back will lead the Chiefs in yards from scrimmage for the rest of the season? I put Carson Steele, Samaje Perine, Kareem Hunt. It got 665 votes. Kareem Hunt got 41% of them. And
wow.
Carson Steele is leading by 1%.
Keep in mind, Kareem Hunt isn't on the roster yet. He's in the practice squad. He's not playing this week.
Yeah, he's fully expected to play next week.
My bet would definitely be Carson Steele, but yeah. I love it. I love the optimism from Chiefs Kingdom, man. I love that.
Now, this is the part I want to talk about, Trevor, because I brought this up on Arrowhead Allies, and I want to get your thoughts on it. I want the chat to jump in on this as well. Who would you say has been the best, most reliable running back for the Chiefs for the last 3 seasons? Production-wise.
I mean...
3 seasons. Remember that. 3 seasons. Last 3. 2021, 2022, 2023.
I mean, as far as like overall just production...
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably... Jerick McKinnon. I mean,
yes.
As far as like the guy's had several multi-touchdown games. He's incredible in the passing game. He's a safety blanket for Pat.
How old was Jerick McKinnon when he came here in 2021?
29. Yeah. So, I mean, but Samaje Perine's also the same age, same kind of player too. So keep that in mind.
What was McKinnon when he came to Kansas City?
Injury prone, very, very talented, injury prone. Yeah, stopgap kind of running back.
Guy. Yeah. No, when we heard that Jerick McKinnon signed with the Chiefs, we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then he flourished.
I was stoked on that signing. I was stoked.
You like the potential of it. But a lot of people are like, well, he's never really done much in his career. It's like, whatever. He's undersized, 5'9", 200-pound running back. Like, okay, whatever.
Only
flourished. He flourished.
It was it was a low risk, high reward.
And he was fresh.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, like you said, Trevor,
you're right.
He's coming over here at 5'11", 230 pounds, fresh.
Yeah.
now
incredible pass catcher.
Recovered from the sports hernia, but the biggest reason why I'm so optimistic about this is he got to come home. He got a chance to come back. You know how motivated this motherfucker is going to be?
I'm just thinking, as you're saying this, I'm just thinking of like all the teams that pass on Kareem Hunt just sitting out there on the street. And if he comes in here and just fucking balls with the Chiefs, how pissed the rest of the league is going to be.
I don't know how his whole season
we did it again.
Be. I don't know how great his numbers are going to be for the season.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you.
Granted, he's not going to play till week 4 or 5.
He is going to be an X factor for this team in the postseason.
Oh, man.
Because he's a dual threat back.
That would be crazy.
That never got to live. Like, imagine being the kid, Trevor, that grew up with guys. Like, imagine, like, you growing up with, like, the jock of jocks in school, right? You grew up with them. Came in together at the same time. And you knew that once you guys got to a certain age, y'all are going to dominate. You're going to kill it. You're going to kill the league. You knew it. But your parents, last minute, pulled you out of that school and you went to another school. But senior year, you get to come back. And the guy that was the jock of jocks, a.k.a. Patrick Mahomes, is still there. And he's got that last shot, last opportunity to go and get it. Now, I'm not saying this is the last shot for the Chiefs, but just go with me in the analogy form of high school. Do you not think you would be as motivated as ever to know that that's your chance to get that ring?
Oh, I mean, we're never going to see a more motivated Kareem Hunt.
I'm telling you, dude.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I think, guys, I really do believe, and maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't believe I'm going to be. I truly believe you're going to see the best of what's left in Kareem Hunt, and I think there's plenty left. I know he's 29, but again, we got 3 spectacular years out of an undersized, injury-prone Jerick McKinnon. Why can't I believe that we can get 2 to 3 years, if not more, or if not better, out of Kareem Hunt, who came from this offense, was literally traded up for to be in this offense, and knows this is his last real chance at greatness with the team that gave him the initial opportunity to get it. I think this is a bigger move than people realize. Like you just said, I think the rest of the league fucked up by letting him come back home. By the Chiefs letting him get back here. This injury with Pacheco sucks because Pacheco is the better back between him and Kareem Hunt now. But losing a player like that can be a blessing in disguise to go and get a guy who's been chomping at the bit, sitting here for 6 years, waiting to get his chance to shine once again in the offense that he used to dominate. And people forget that just 11 games in 2018,
insane.
Kareem Hunt had 1,200 total yards and 14 freaking touchdowns.
That was the best Chief offense ever.
He was going to have one of the greatest seasons a running back has ever had.
Yeah.
He was going to easily have around 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. Easily. He was going to kill this league in this offense.
Yeah, he was probably going to lead the league in yards from scrimmage for sure.
He led the league in rushing the year before with Alex Smith as his quarterback and then excelled exponentially. I'm telling you guys, and I'm not trying to hype this up too high because I think it may take some time.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, when it sparks, it's going to ignite into something that we have been missing since he left.
Well, and I think the swiftness of the signing too, I think tells you that I think the front office has kept a relationship with him. I don't think it happened quick. He was brought in quickly. So I think they had him on speed dial. I think they had him kind of ready to go in their back pocket if need be. And I think that might be why maybe, we don't know. Maybe he turned down other teams. You know,
I guarantee he did.
Possibly. I mean, I doubt guys are turning down jobs. But
if he knew the Chiefs are interested,
if he knows the Chiefs are in communication with him, like, hey, listen, if we lose one body, you're our guy.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's kind of what tells me what was actually going on, possibly. Because like I said, the quickness, like he came in for like a day for a workout and basically was signed the next day. It's like they kind of that doesn't usually happen that fast.
Right.
So, yeah, man, dude, I'm telling you, and I'm already envisioning like keeping Carson Steele like the fullback position, and imagine like a running game, like a power O run, with Carson Steele blocking ahead of Kareem Hunt and them just going power O and just pounding the rock with those two guys. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
And then, setting up play action for Patrick Mahomes oh, man. And those guys are never going to see stack boxes. Kareem's never going to see a stack box. That's why he was so good with us before, because Patrick was just dealing downfield with Tyreek Hill. So, I mean, if Xavier Worthy becomes something, bro, this offense could be.
Remember 2022? That's the last time the Chiefs had the number one offense, right?
Yeah.
What did the Chiefs have in that offense that they didn't have until right now? A running back who could catch the ball out of the backfield and create with his legs and go downfield and make big plays and score touchdowns. Jerick McKinnon had nine receiving touchdowns in 2022.
And
led
also,
the team.
and also another similarity between Jerick McKinnon and Kareem Hunt is they're both incredible pass pro.
That's what I'm saying.
They're so good at protecting and throwing those blocks.
And I believe that Kareem Hunt's the better player. I think he's a better player than Jet McKinnon. And that's not a knock on Jet.
I don't think he's the better athlete when healthy.
Really?
Jerick McKinnon is a freak athlete, dude. Especially he was a little smaller than Kareem too, and he was
a lot smaller than Kareem.
And he was incredible pass pro. He was stonewalling.
Yeah, but I'm saying like Kareem's got more to his body than Jet.
He's the
McKinnon
bigger
does.
bruiser,
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion. But I think his pure athlete speed. It's just, I mean, outside the injuries, I think Jerick McKinnon was a freak athlete.
My point though
his
is
spark
that
score was out.
my point is I think that the Chiefs upgraded from even the 2022 Jerick McKinnon.
Kareem's got more to his game, in my opinion, because of the size that he has.
That's what I'm saying.
And him being, because Jerick McKinnon's not a great red zone guy.
Jerick McKinnon was not a 3-down back.
No.
Kareem Hunt is.
Kareem Hunt is a bell cow,
Yes.
true bell cow back. Yeah,
That's my point is that I think even at 29, I'm not doubting him in this offense because at 29, I saw Jerick McKinnon, 31 years old, score 9 receiving touchdowns in this offense at 31 years old.
Such a threat in the passing game.
So
dude.
we got that back. The Chiefs got that back in their offense, and it's the perfect timing because Hollywood
Demonte
Brown,
Pirine, dude.
yes, Hollywood Brown, who was supposed to be this marvel in this offense, is gone. Pacheco, gone. So you have multiple big, heavy hitters in this offense gone. Kelce with the slow uptick and becoming a receiving option.
I'm not worried
which
about
will
Kelce.
happen. Yeah,
I'm not worried about him at all.
not at all. Yeah. Once that starts to happen, then you start to have more pressure off Rashee Rice and these other pieces. Xavier Worthy.
Rashee looks so good.
And Xavier Worthy's working his way into this offense. Right now, he's kind of the gimmicky guy. Yeah. He's going to work his way into the offense. He's going to be fine. I already think he's a football player. Yeah. You guys know that. I'm giving him his credit. But right now, he's easing his way into his career. I'm not putting any pressure on Xavier Worthy. So this is the perfect time to go and get that next volume of what Jet McKinnon was in this offense in 2022 because that's what they needed in 2022. Because Juju, MVS, there were fine veterans around Travis Kelce, but you needed that X factor out of the backfield to not only protect Patrick with the chips, but go out there and catch passes, take it for 30, 40 yards, touchdown, touchdown, Kansas City.
Yeah.
We need that. We haven't had that last season. Jet McKinnon was
mean back.
Yeah, Jet McKinnon was in and out of the lineup, didn't have that out of the backfield. Now you have it again.
Yeah, and our guy Noah Groninger chimes in and says Kareem's contact balance is second to none. I agree with that. And and listen, I've caught some flack for this, and I probably will when I say it now. But I'm not the biggest Isaiah Pacheco guy. I love him. I love the kid. I love the way his mentality is. He's not the greatest running back though. He's not the most skilled guy. He's a very great straight runner, but when he gets contact, he gets laid out. He doesn't absorb contact very well. That's one thing I love about like to Noah's point, Kareem's ability to absorb contact and continue moving forward. That's why I like the way Carson Steele runs. It's this very similar way, Spencer Ware-esque, those kind of guys. I love those guys that are always falling forward. And always they will run through people, run through a motherfucker's face, right? So, yeah, I agree with Noah there. Having another running back that can do that. And I'm saying, dude, this tandem with him and Steele is going to be nasty.
Right.
These defensive lines are going to hate these guys.
Right.
Because they're just going to be running right at you. They don't need to avoid you. They will run right through you. And Kareem Hunt was always one of the best backs when healthy at avoiding at yards after contact. His yards after contact was always top tier. Similar to guys like Derrick Henry and guys like this continue just to move forward after the first hit. So having that dynamic back in this offense is going to be nice.
I will say this. I want to answer one question real quick because I know we're kind of breaking the rules here, but we have to address it now because we're talking about it, and I don't want to have to rehash on it because I know our guy Brad Simcox is here today. Britt Chief, shout out to you, brother. It's kind of a back and forth with him and Bump and BB. Yep. I want to get to this. So Travis Brad Kelce starts this with, people are saying Kelce's poor start to the season is the start of his downfall. Are you guys buying that? Mm-hmm. Bubba BP responds to Brad directly and then has 2 more takes. He says, at Brad Simcox, Kelce is 35, so it's not really a fall off, more like a neutral age regression. And then he goes, you guys are so in denial about Kelce. He's 35. He's going to get like 600 yards this season. He's never getting 1,000 again. He'll turn up in the playoffs. Rashee is the guy in the offense now. Okay, so let me first address Brad's question. Do I think this is the downfall of Travis Kelce? No. I don't believe this is the downfall. I think that there is a slow regression of his career because that is what naturally happens with athletes, as we all know. And at the tight end position, we saw guys like Shannon Sharpe at 35 completely done. He retired.
Yeah.
Gronk at 29, 30 years old was baked. So It's rare for guys, you have your Tony Gonzalez's, Jason Witten's, Antonio Gateses that played into their late 30s, but even they really showed signs of, attrition. And I think that's where Kelce started to embark in that chapter of his career, which is fine. We all accept it. My problem is the first part of Bubba's take when he said the word denial about Kelce. Where was I? What am I denying?
Oh, I got something to say about
I never said that Travis Kelce is going to have an all-pro season.
Right.
In this conversation right now.
That doesn't mean it's a downfall.
But that doesn't mean that we're in denial. I'm accepting. If he has a 600-yard season, I'll accept that. I don't think it's going to be only 600. I think he's going to flirt with 800 to 900 yards again, because I have this stat right here that I posted on Twitter that I shared with a lot of people. It pissed a lot of people off, and I don't really get it. I'll break it down in common sense terms if it's okay. Travis Kelce, through week 2 this season, has 4 receptions for 39 yards and 0 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, through week 2 last season, had 4 receptions for 26 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Now, people said, well, Lance, he didn't play in week 1.
He was hurt.
That is literally my point.
Yeah.
You're making my point for me, is that even though he missed an entire game last season and had a slow start out the gate, the man still led all tight ends in receptions and yards.
And
Do you get what I'm saying here?
In these past 2 games, he's on the field for 98% of the plays.
And he's open.
Yeah.
Travis, go watch the all 22, guys.
Yeah.
Travis is open all the time.
Yeah.
What does this tell me? This tells me exactly what I thought was going to happen. The Chiefs are going to ease Travis Kelce into the season because, one, ideally, they were going to have a plethora of other weapons like Hollywood Brown, Pacheco, Rashi, all these other guys to utilize during the regular season. And as the season gets later in the year, you're going to see an uptick of Travis Kelce. And then what do you know? In the postseason, Bubba, you even admitted yourself, he's going to go off.
Yeah.
How is he going to go off? He's going to be fresh. He's going to be healthy. That's exactly what happened last season. They took the last week off, missed his 1,000-yard marker, but then had an historic run in the postseason.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm expecting this year. So it isn't that there's a downfall or that I'm in denial. There is no denial.
Yeah.
I'm expecting this. It's okay because he's no longer the 28, 29-year-old Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
He is an older player, which you allow the younger guys to lead the way now. And as it's week 13, 14, 15, 16, Travis starts getting more usage. And I'm going to start seeing more. I'm expecting him to have better games in the next coming weeks, maybe even this week. But don't think that it's going to be a 600-yard, 3-touchdown season. Expect him to have 750 to 950 yards, 5 to 7, 8 touchdowns. And then in the postseason, when it comes around, he's going to become the GOAT that we know him to be.
Yeah, I mean, our guy Brad Simcox chimes in, death taxes and Travis Kelce being open. Facts.
Right.
And I think my point here is I think we are missing the forest for the trees a little bit here. I think a lot of this has, in my mind, this is less to do with Travis Kelce either being older or starting to regress more than it does about us having a rising star in Rashee Rice. Listen, Travis Kelce had games off where he wasn't doing shit when Tyreek Hill was going off in certain games.
Thank you.
How many times did we see Tyreek have a game and Travis Kelce was on the back burner? It happens. Rashee Rice has been incredible so far this year, bro. 100-plus yards in week 1, and then an absolute incredible downfield outside touchdown against the Bengals.
Touchdown.
An absolute incredible route, just burnt his defender, and that's a good secondary. Some good guys on him over there, and he burnt the guy in an absolute dime from Patrick Mahomes. If we can, the way Rashee Rice is growing in front of our eyes, that needs to be more about the spotlight of the conversation than Travis Kelce not being, because Travis Kelce hasn't. We're 2-0 against the Ravens and the Bengals right now. Travis Kelce hasn't done shit.
Right.
Please understand that. And also, on top of that, Travis Kelce had a 40-plus yard reception last week that was called back.
Right.
If he brings that in, he was about a yard shy of a touchdown already too. If he has a touchdown and has that big play, this conversation is not this drastic. We're not talking about, and especially with tight end play across the league being awful right now. You got your Sam Laportas and all these other guys that are not. There hasn't been great tight end play, honestly, from the big dogs so far this season. So Travis Kelce is kind of just in that trend right now across the league. So I'm not worried about Kelce at all. Rashee Rice has become the new wide receiver 1, maybe the new number 1 option in this passing game, and I'm fine with that because we've seen numerous situations like that where the wide receiver 1, Tyreek Hill, when he was here, had multiple weeks in a row where he was the go-to guy and he was balling, and Travis Kelce wasn't doing too much or just doing just enough to be a kind of a contributor alongside Travis Kelce or alongside Tyreek Hill. So allow Rashee Rice to blossom in front of our eyes. Allow him to tab this spotlight right now because he's back-to-back weeks where he's been incredible.
Right.
Back-to-back weeks where he's been awesome. So I'll go from a 100-yard game week 1 to scoring a big-time downfield touchdown week 2 against the Bengals, and two teams that are rivals against us. So I love what I'm seeing out of Rashee, and I think we need to talk about that more rather than Travis Kelce just not being a no-show in this offense. Travis Kelce is going to have a big year this year still. He's going to be pushing for 900-plus yards still, in my opinion. He's going to be pushing for league reception leaders. Maybe Brock Bowers might be that guy this year because he looks great. I'm not going to lie. He might lead all tight ends in reception, him and Trey McBride, who looks great too. But Travis Kelce is still going to be a top 5 tight end in this league. Top 3 probably in my mind. He's still going to go push for double-digit touchdowns. He's going to have multi-touchdown games. And we're gonna look back on this conversation maybe this weekend and be like, God damn it, we're dumb. Here we are again. Travis Kelce's still that guy.
And Bubba clarified, he goes, I probably shouldn't have said denial. I know what you're trying to say, but I'm not even really speaking to Bubba directly. I'm speaking to a lot. I heard it on freaking 96.5 The Fan yesterday when CHIEFS once again tries to jump on, tries to lead the bandwagon of Travis Kelce's now washed. He tried to do this last year. We all saw how that went. I guess CHIEFS didn't learn his lesson last year, but I guess he wants to learn it again this year. The point is that this is exactly what I'm saying, guys. Is that
it's time for shade.
And let's be real. Yeah, let's be real. Kelce is a victim of his own standard. He set the standard.
Yeah, man.
Of all these consecutive 1,000-yard seasons that everybody's like, oh, he only had 980
at the tight end position.
Travis Kelce only had 980.
He's not going to get 1,000 yards, guys.
You're telling me right now that Travis Kelce only had 984 yards last year? What the fuck?
Only 8 touchdowns. Come on,
is he 12. Okay? Did he get the vaccine? What did Taylor Swift do to him?
Pfizer boy.
You know what I mean? Like it's a stupid madness that we deal with every single day, man.
He's gonna be fine, guys.
Yeah.
Barring health, he's gonna be fine.
And here's the biggest reason why I know he's gonna be fine. Real quick, and I don't want to just keep chiming on this.
Yeah.
But when Wanye Morris scored that touchdown last week, who was wide open in the back of the end zone? Travis Kelce. And who was celebrating like a 5-year-old when Wanye scored the touchdown? Travis Kelce. So not only was he open for a touchdown and didn't throw a fit like a little child because he didn't get his stats, but he was celebrating a teammate getting the touchdown. You know who was open, Trevor, on the final play of the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl last year? You know who was wide open? Travis Kelce. You know who got the touchdown? McCole freaking Hardman, who wasn't even on the team for half the year. Travis Kelce threw a fit. You know what Travis Kelce did? Ran and celebrated with his team.
Yeah, if you're a betting man, are you going to tell me if are you going to put money on Travis Kelce regressing and this getting worse as the season goes on, or Travis Kelce being Travis Kelce as the season goes on? Let's be real right now, bro. Travis Kelce is going to be fine this year. Is he going to be 2016, 2017 Travis Kelce? Probably not, because Father Time always wins, right? But at the same time, we've seen great tight ends age very well in this league. Shit, Mercedes Lewis, obviously he's not a good tight end in this league anymore, but he's still playing football. And like you said, Shannon Sharp, Gates, other guys that there's so many tight ends that have been Tony Gonzalez too. All these guys played well into their later 30s and were incredible still. Right. We're always great in the red zone. I think Travis Kelce is going to be an incredible red zone guy this year. I think he's going to be that. Travis Kelce is going to be fine, guys. Trust me. This is it's only going to get better from here. This is a slow start, but honestly, I prefer that. Like I said, we're 2-0 against our two biggest threats in this division, the AFC, and I mean, shit, we could be on the other side. We could be 0-2, like the Bengals and like the Ravens. We could be sitting 0-2 and worrying about, everything. But here we are worrying about Travis Kelce, our superstar Hall of Fame tight end, not getting 1,000 yards.
Shout out to James D. Kirk for that kind word. I appreciate it. I'll let the chat see that for themselves. MQ10 says, that's scary about KC. KC hasn't done anything so far. They're 2-0. Kelce hasn't done anything.
Exactly. That's my point, dude.
Yeah, and honestly, no shot at Kelce. This helps Mahomes' case that he's not Kelce reliant. Boom.
I think the story of this offense is Rashee Rice, though. I'm going to go back to it again.
Talked about this, yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, the kid is a rising star in this offense. He's not going to be like a Justin Jefferson or like one of these elite stars in this league. But as far as production goes in this offense, he's blossoming before our eyes, guys. And this is just the beginning. I think this season he's going to absolutely have incredible numbers, dude. I'm telling you. So allow him.
I want to briefly touch on this before we get to our Chiefs Falcons preview prediction here, guys. So there's a growing concern, and I understand it to a degree, of the left tackle position. As you guys know, Kingsley Suamataia is a rookie second-round pick that I have been very big on before the draft ever happened. Yep. I said that I want this guy to be the Chiefs' left tackle because I believe in his talent and ability, and I think that he can be a 10 to 15-year starter in this offense. As the season has gone on, the first 2 weeks, we've seen some real struggle from Kingsley, especially in the second week against Hendrickson from the Bengals, who we all know is an all-pro pass rusher, a guy that gives hell to a lot of left tackles, let alone a rookie in his second game of his career. You know, I look at this conversation, I look at this situation as the same thing that I talked about a couple years ago when I was on Chief Concerns with my guy Marcus Dash and Jason Dunn. And I think it was week 4, week 5 when the Chiefs played the Buffalo Bills at home. And rookie quarterback Joshua Williams was lined up one-on-one against Stephon Diggs. The crucial part of the game. Stephon Diggs blows right by Joshua Williams. And Josh Allen hits him for a touchdown. Bills win the game 24-20. And I remember going on the post game with Marcus and JD, and I was so pissed. I was going off. I was calling Spagnuolo all out, saying that was a stupid decision.
I remember.
How could you leave this kid one-on-one? Yeah, I was going off during the game. I was so goddamn angry because the Chiefs should have won that game. And I remember JD, and I have always usually seen eye to eye on things. But JD called me out. He goes, brother, you're wrong.
He punched you right in the face.
Yeah, JD was a 6'8" frame, punched you right in the freaking face. I just woke up a month ago.
Right in the kisser, bro.
No, but JD was like, brother, you're wrong. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, here we go. And JD said a word that stuck with me. Galvanize. And I was like, what does he mean by that? Because
how do you spell that?
And Trevor and I grew up in the construction world, so we know like galvanized nails, what that means.
Yeah.
When you hit a galvanized nail into wood, that shit ain't coming out. It's stuck. Yeah. It stays because it really plants itself into whatever it is you nailed it in. And I thought about that. I was like, what do you mean by galvanize? He goes, JD said, this is going to galvanize Joshua Williams and this young secondary for their playoff run. They're going to learn from this. And what do you know?
Sink or swim, bitch.
AFC Championship game. L'Jarius Sneed goes out within a few plays with a concussion. And who picks off Joe Burrow? Joshua Williams. On a fly route, by the way. Who also picks him
Never
off?
forget it.
Jalen Watson, the other rookie quarterback. They were galvanized. They learned from their early season mistakes. This team is famous for doing this, where they put their rookies in the fire because they know we're going to need you to come down the playoff push. Kingsley Suamataia plays a much more pivotal role in this team's success than Joshua Williams. No offense to Josh. He's played his role, but he plays quarterback. And we know that left tackle is probably the second most important position on a football team. So the fire has to burn deeper for him than anybody else outside of Patrick Mahomes. And if we know anything about Kingsley to this point, this kid is all about football, eats, breathes, sleeps football, and is learning the hard way. As I said on Arrowhead Allies this week, he's in the pain right now.
Yeah.
The growing pains. He's in it right now.
Yeah.
He's hurting. He's pissed. He's angry. He's probably on the phone with his family, upset. I don't know what's going on. I can't. He's all mad. He's being galvanized right now. The team has put him on an island in back-to-back weeks against two teams the Chiefs have had real battles with.
Hendrickson's one of the most underrated defensive linemen in this league, too.
He's unreal. And the Ravens' front seven is always deadly.
Yeah.
And he was out there cutting his teeth in the fire.
He ain't getting no rest this week. There's another good defensive line.
So this is why I want people to please be patient with Kingsley Suamataia. Guys, I'm not going to defend his performance. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is to see, like Trevor said just a minute ago, see the forest through the trees. See the bigger picture. The Chiefs clearly believed in Kingsley this offseason. They didn't bring a veteran left tackle in to compete with him. They didn't bring anybody. They knew Wanye wasn't the answer because we saw Kingsley take this job over day one. And yes, they did pull him out of this game late against the Bengals. But that's, again, to get him refocused. Mm-hmm. And I know Tim Grunhart, all respect to him for being the player he was for the Chiefs, but he's dead wrong when he says that you need to bench Kingsley. Because he also, in his take, and I wish I could play it for you, so I don't want to, say things wrong out of context, but this is what Grunny said. He basically said, it's like, when a player in baseball struggles, you sit them down to AAA ball and they get better. Yeah, but
that doesn't always
football,
happen.
Yeah, but in football, the only way to get better is you keep playing because in double AAA ball, you keep playing.
Yeah.
So Kingsley needs to keep playing.
Well,
benching him doesn't help anything.
I mean, case in point, just from if you guys actually watched that Ravens game last week, Gardner Minshew threw a terrible pick. And who was in his ear right on the sidelines right as soon as he did that, but didn't even give Gardner Minshew a chance to get down on himself? Max Crosby. Max Crosby was over there, punch him in the chest. You could see, like, I don't know what he was obviously saying to him, but you can see he was like giving him a pep talk, and it was awesome. I love seeing that. That's why I love Max Crosby. He was and he's a defensive player. He was over there getting in his quarterback's face, hyping him up, like, bro, you got this. And they went there and fucking won. Gardner Minshew balled after that. That's the kind of, like, in football, it's different, man. You got to have the trust of your coaches. You got to feel, because it's a very, what have you done for me lately game, right? So if someone's confidence down, you can't have an incompetent and unconfident left tackle out there, especially a young kid. So I think the Chiefs go right back to him, and I agree. I think that's the best way to do it. Pulling him from that game made sense because he was getting shook. He was shook. He was a little rattled in that game going against that good, defensive line there. So, and obviously we needed to win that game. So finding any kind of edge we could, and we barely won, obviously by 1 point. So every little play mattered. So getting him out of that game in that situation made sense. I think they go right back to him. I think they instill the confidence in him, and that's what we got to do. He's our guy. We drafted him here to be our guy, and I truly believe he will be that. But yeah, I mean, there was growing pains for even a semi-veteran in Juwan Taylor last year. There were certain things he was going through, but he was awesome down the stretch.
Well, and real quick, we just got done praising Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
How long did it take him to become a good player in this offense last year?
Right.
Half the season.
Yeah, and that was more pressure on him, too, because we didn't necessarily need him to be that, but we needed him to be that because he wasn't expected to be that.
And he had drop problems. Remember that in the preseason? He was dropping passes. We're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
This kid's going to have growing pains. And he did.
It might be more magnified for Kingsley, too, because he was drafted to be the guy from
exactly.
The jump. And left tackle, that's one of the toughest positions to play in football.
That's what I'm saying. Let's let him get this going.
Yeah.
Now, if we get through the whole season and he's still this bad, then you're gonna have to figure something out. Yeah, you're gonna have to. There's gonna have to be real talks about is he the guy for the future or not. Yeah. That's fair. But I'm telling y'all, man, I am so confident we're gonna see a progression very similar to Rashee's, where you're like, oh my god, we haven't talked about left tackle in 3 weeks.
Kingsley is very, very good.
Yes.
He's going to be great for this team. Just 2 weeks, and listen, dude, like I'm gonna harp on it again. I'm gonna keep going back to it. This is not like we just beat the Panther. We were struggling against the Panthers. And he was getting destroyed by the Panthers or the Washington Commanders. We started the season off against the Ravens and the Bengals.
Thank you.
Our two most competent foes, and we're 2-0. And Kingsley is a big part of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, please keep that in mind. If there's ever a challenge for any young starting left tackle in the league, it's those two matchups right away in the season. And he's only going to get better from here, dude. Same thing with Travis Kelce. Pump the fucking brakes. Travis Kelce is still that dude. Travis Kelce is still that dog. He's going to remind y'all about that real soon these next coming weeks. So just please, patience. We're 2-0. We're looking to go 3-0. Let's go.
Well said.
So, shit.
Well, the Chiefs have a game this week, and I think it could be a bigger game than most people expect. I will be honest. I think that coming into this game, the Chiefs are minus, they're 3-point favorites on the road.
Yep.
The over-under is 46.5. People are expecting some scoring in this game.
I like the under.
I do think the desperation of this game would be at a higher magnitude. Obviously, if the Falcons would end up losing that game in Philadelphia last week, which I was expecting.
What a drive from Kirk.
Yeah, man. Props to Kirk for that final drive. He was pretty damn good all night.
I will say though that defense blew it more than he was great.
Well,
though,
and let's be real. And then Saquon Barkley dropped that pass. That was a bad call by Sirianni. They should have just ran the damn ball. But we can talk about that. Yeah. The point is,
it's embarrassing.
The Falcons coming into this game feeling a lot better about themselves. Obviously, Arthur Blake's no idiot. He's doing this big motivational thing before the game where he's putting himself in his own ring of honor.
Yeah.
And he's also giving out free food drinks, which is always going to bring people out. But from what I'm hearing, it's going to be over 45% Chiefs fans in the stadium in this game. There's a lot of people we know, Trevor,
as expected,
that are already in the ATL ready for this game to go. So it's going to be pretty close to a home game down there. And we know that Patrick Mahomes thrives in dome games.
Patrick Mahomes, baby.
But here's the other thing that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to. I'm so glad our guy Nick Wright put it out there because I was going to put it out there if he did it. It's what Patrick Mahomes does after 2 interception games.
Yep.
Trevor, if we go ahead and roll that beautiful beat footage real quick, would you look at it? Patrick Mahomes' career after multi-interception games. The Chiefs are 12-3 in those games.
Man, I might take the over then.
The team points per game differentials over 8 points. His completion percentage is right under 70%. throws over 300 yards per game to 43-9 touchdown interception ratio with a 112 quarterback rating. In other words,
43-9, dude.
And this isn't just dome games, by the way, guys. It's just games.
That's insane. 43-9 is insane, dude.
After throwing 2 picks in the game, Patrick Mahomes shores that shit up. So I'm not trying to just jump the gun here or jump the shark and just tell you guys my prediction.
This is a good team.
Because I have respect for the Falcons. I have them as an 11-win team. I have them winning their division. I have them in the playoffs, obviously. I have respect for Kirk Cousins. I think Bijan Robinson right now is the best running back in football.
So good.
I think that Algier's a hell of a backup. I like Drake London. I like Kyle Pitts, even though he's very underwhelming.
Darnell Mooney came up
Their
big last week.
offensive line is underrated as fuck.
So good, bro.
I actually had the pleasure of talking to Trevor and Todd McClure, longtime center for the Falcons, who played with Michael Vick and Matt Ryan. Yep. He thinks the Chiefs are going to win this game. He's a big respecter of the Chiefs. He thinks the Chiefs are going to win this game as well. Because of the fact, Trevor, that this is one of those moments where you see the way games come together.
Yeah.
And the Falcons are coming into this game, like I said, feeling good about themselves. You know, they snuck out a victory, and everybody's like worried about this Falcons offense. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Trevor. If it wasn't for the Eagles fucking up on that final drive and giving the Falcons an extra drive, who did capitalize, I might add, the Falcons would have scored 15 points in that game.
Yeah, they were opportunists,
and they scored 10 points in the previous game at home.
Yeah, man.
So
this offense has not looked great.
They're averaging 12 points per game right now if it wasn't for that final drive.
Yeah.
But even with that final drive, they're averaging like 13, 14.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this matchup, Trevor, and I know the Chiefs are a little banged up too. But the Chiefs are coming to this game playing like dog shit, squeaked out a victory, but played like absolute dog shit.
And what's crazy is,
go ahead.
To interrupt you for a second, we have been playing like dog shit and leaving so much potential on the field while Lamar Jackson played great, while Joe Burrow played great. Joe Burrow played great last week. He looked really good. Him and Gesicki's connection was incredible. Yoshivas scored twice. Joe Burrow looked great. He was avoiding pressure outside of the strip sack. He was running around, getting out of the press. Joe Burrow that was his comeback game this week because he looked off on the first week one. So those two quarterbacks played well. Now we're going against Kirk Cousins, who's not looked great by any means, very immobile, and the offensive line is protecting him very well. I agree that offensive line is very good, and their defensive line is great as well. But we're 2-0 against two Hall of Fame talent type of quarterbacks, in my opinion, and we're 2-0 against them, and we're going against, in my opinion, a lesser quarterback in a better situation. Chiefs are well traveled, by the way, and Patrick Mahomes plays well against these NFC kind of foes, especially in the dome. And then you just showed the numbers coming off of 2 interception games. This is a bad spot for the Falcons. This is a good spot for the Chiefs, in my opinion, bro. This feels like a get right game for the Chiefs in a fall back to down to earth kind of game after a high, coming off that high of that comeback victory against the Eagles for the Falcons. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, no, you're fine, and that's actually where I'm going. Is I think that just from a matchup perspective and the motivational perspective, the Chiefs know, and for whatever reason, I love the Chiefs on the road far more than I love them at Arrowhead.
It's fun.
These
games are fun, man.
It's more like they treat it more like, I hate to say it this way because I know this sounds wrong,
more a playoff game,
but I think they like take it more seriously.
Yeah.
Like
that's why a lot of people think this is a trap game for the Chiefs. I'm like, bro, in no way is this a trap game for the Chiefs. The Chiefs love. We're well traveled, bro.
They love playing on the road.
Yes.
Like, this team is so good. Patrick Mahomes, quite frankly, is a better quarterback on the road.
And Travis Kelce's great on the road too, just like in the playoffs this past season. We went on the road the whole time. Travis Kelce had his best postseason of his career.
That's what I'm saying. This team
I love the boos more than the cheers, baby.
Yes,
Bring it. That's the mentality
the
of this team.
That's
bro.
why you've not seen them play the villain. Like, they don't care. Like, we're celebrities. We're superstars now.
We don't give a shit.
We'll go on the road. You can boo the fuck out of. We're just take care of business.
We're gonna do us, baby. This is what we do.
It's something, like I said. Some guys get motivated off the silence of a crowd more than the roar of it. And I think that sometimes when the Chiefs get home, they kind of feel themselves, want to show off, get a little stupid.
A little more comfortable.
Yeah. But Andy Reid makes some really dumb decisions, ironically, against the Falcons the last time they played, was in Kansas City in 2020.
Yeah.
Maybe the dumbest play call I've ever seen, where he had Patrick run a route and Sammy Watkins threw the ball to him.
Oh, that was against the Falcons, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Keanu Neal was on him.
Chiefs had like an F game. Chiefs had an F game that week and won 17-14. Like, it's just so dumb. If that game would have been in Atlanta, the Chiefs would have won that game like 31-2, 31-10. Like, they just shelled that. That Falcons team was not good. The point I'm trying to make, Trevor, is I think that this is a focus. I'm full disclosure. I ate 20 chicken wings last night. I was really hungry. And I noticed when I was eating, I was like, I'm leaving a lot on the boat.
That Wingstop Ranch.
I was eating these wings like a fucking white man, dude. I was like leaving a bunch of just meat on the boat. I'm like, I gotta get that right, dude. So I dip it in some ranch. I clean them fuckers off.
Come here.
Yeah, get back here. Let's things take care of.
How dare you?
The
leave
Chiefs
me
have been
alone.
eating wings like white guys the first 2 weeks. They've been leaving a lot of meat on the bone. And God damn it, I think this is the week. They play a good team. You know, Isaiah Simmons has played really well against Patrick Mahomes. I think he has the most interceptions against Patrick Mahomes than any other defensive player.
Yeah.
And obviously, Jesse Bates has played very well against Patrick Mahomes.
That defense is stacked, bro. And then Judon in the mix now, too.
I think this is the week, though, we're like, oh, God damn, the Chiefs did they really just score that? Damn. Like, I think this is the week because Isaiah Pacheco's out. People are thinking, oh, we got to take the under. Hollywood Brown's not going to come back. They have a lot of questions at running back right now. Offensive lines, at left tackle. There's all these questions. And then I think what solidifies this week, Trevor, is a game from the guy that we've been sitting here waiting to take off. It's Travis Kelce. I think Travis Kelce's going to have a baller game this week. I'm not saying he's going to have 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. But I will say at least 75 yards, and I do believe he gets a touchdown this week. I believe that the guy that's been open for a couple weeks now is the guy that's going to be getting the ball this week because I don't believe they have a guy on their defense that's going to stop him. I think they're going to need him to have a big game. I think Rashee Rice is going to do his thing, but that's not shocking.
I like the underneath game.
But that's not shocking. No. That's not shocking at all.
He's been great both weeks, bro, against better teams.
And on turf, who's the fastest man on this field? Xavier fucking Worthy.
Yeah.
And I really like
sweeps.
what he can do. And McCole Hardman. Watch out for McCole Hardman this week. I think McCole Hardman would have a big play in this game.
That is one thing, too, that I was frustrated about the Bengals game, particularly about our offenses. We did not do much pre-snap motion. And it wasn't a lot of it. We weren't like testing to see if they were playing man, if they were or zone, or what. There wasn't a lot of like trickery, or not necessarily trickery, but just like testing the DBs, seeing where they're at, so get Patrick's eyes ready to go through his progression, because that helps you. Yeah. You've seen with Derek Carr this year, dude. They made that offense so user-friendly for Derek Carr with all the pre-snap motion, getting his reads kind of together before the snap. We didn't do enough of that against the Bengals. I think we overcorrect that a little bit this week against Atlanta. We really use a lot of McCole and Xavier Worthy in the pre-snap. Even Rasheed, getting him in pre-snap motion too, bringing him from the outside, and bring him into the slot, or take him from the slot to the outside to kind of confuse the DBs where he's going to go, because for Christ's sake, dude, the dude who ate in the middle week 1 and then absolutely had an absolute incredible 9 route, just deep shot on the money from Patrick Mahomes the next week. So Rasheed is becoming a true complete receiver. I love it right before our eyes. But yeah, man, this DB it's a tough DB room over there though. Those guys are ready to eat, and this defensive line is going to get after Patrick Mahomes. So I really am interested to see how our offensive line in this game really kind of comes up, for the challenge here, because it's 3 straight games against nasty defensive lines. And Kingsley's going to get his other shot here, but I like us in this game, man. I did not realize how good Pat was after those 2 interception games. That's wild. That makes you want to kind of tease the spread up a little bit more from 3 to maybe 6.5.
Now, I will say this on the defensive side, because we know that Spags, as the season progresses, he gets better and better. His defenses get better and better. If I had a request to Spags, I want him to play pressure all game long. And the reason why,
we're going to take Drake London out of this game. You already know.
The man pressure. I'm talking about up front man pressure. Biggest reason why is because they know Kirk Cousins is not mobile against Chris Jones. They're going to want to get the ball out quick out of Kirk's hands.
A lot of Kyle Pitts over the middle, probably. Yeah.
A lot of quick screens, a lot of like delayed handoffs, things like that. Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope Spags stacks the box in this game and forces Kirk to try to throw the ball downfield, because I think the safety room can pick off Kirk a couple times in this game. I really do believe.
I don't think Kirk's gonna have enough time to really. I think they're gonna have to. I think they're gonna have to. I think we're gonna put up points fairly early, and not a lot of points. I like the under in this game still. I just think this is gonna be more of a defensive game than people realize, because the Chiefs have kind of wanted the games to go that way lately. We've been really relying on the defense, and I think Carson Steele's gonna really get some. Really, him and Suamataia are going to really have a lot of work in this game.
Well, they also brought in Ingram as well.
Keontae Ingram.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get some play too.
Yeah,
I think Keontae Ingram getting probably 4 or 5 touches in this game.
He's solid. I'm not a big fan of him, but he's solid enough. I think Steele's going to get a lot of work though in this game, dude. I really, really do. I think he's going to get. I think they're going to grind this game out a little bit. It's not going to be as exciting, I think, as we want it to be, but I do like our defense in this spot though.
Over under on rush attempts. I'm going to set it at 20 for the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, I like that. I think we run.
I like the under.
I like over, bro. I like over on it. I think we run the ball a healthy amount.
The reason why I say the under is because I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a really good game, and I think they're going to throw the ball.
The under is the safer bet for sure.
I think Patrick throws the ball 40-plus times. I really do.
I think we only do that if we're trailing. I don't think we're going to need to throw the ball.
I think the Falcons can score in this game.
See,
I'm not saying they're going to score. I'm not going to say they're going to score 30.
Eagles defense, their secondary is awful, and they've been one of the worst at getting pressure on the quarterbacks this season, which is strange because they're loaded name-wise on that defense. And the Falcons' offense wasn't even good against the Eagles' defense. Right. Outside of that last drive, they weren't moving the ball barely at all. I think our defense is going to be all over them, bro.
Well, I'll save it for my key players, but there's a reason why I think the Falcons can move the ball in the Chiefs. One, I mean, let's
running
be real.
game, obviously.
You know the Chiefs do have the second worst pass defense right now.
Pass defense?
Yes, they're 31st in pass defense, but there's a reason. There's
secondary options, tight ends.
It's not, It's not because of their secondary. It's because of their linebackers. Their linebackers are being cooked this season. So I think this could be a game where they try to get Kyle Pitts going. I can very well see that because, like I said, the linebackers right now for the Chiefs have
Falcons are
really
not good
struggling.
at finishing drives, though.
Right.
They stall out a lot, and they settle for a lot of field goals. I don't know, man. I think our defensive line is really going to wreck this game. I think Chris Jones is going to have another game. Chris Jones has looked so good this year.
Yes,
My God, he looks like
he was pissed. He looks
better than ever, dude. Chris Jones looks better than ever. He's just watching him mic'd up last week was so fun. I let the whole drama of them taking the league taking his sack away was hilarious, bro. When they said during the game he got the sack, I'm mic'd up. He looked at George like, "Fuck you, dude." Chris Jones is having fun out there, bro, and I love it. I think this defense. I think Trent McDuffie could see some Kyle Pitts. I think they can have him kind of spy Kyle Pitts a little bit in the slot because obviously that's Trent's strength. So I think if Trent McDuffie's watching Kyle Pitts is going to get shut down.
I have to take offense to something real quick because our guy James T. Kirk really pissed me off.
Oh boy.
Now. I haven't eaten chicken wings since February. I went vegan. You shit me? You're lucky you're our boy. I'm just saying.
Don't get me started.
I might have to block
Mr.
you
Kirk.
for a week.
Timeout. We're gonna put him in the timeout corner. Dunce corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. No, I mean, I think this is gonna be. I like the under on this game. I like the Chiefs to just kind of have a grind out win, maybe score 24 points tops. In my opinion, I don't think there's gonna be that many points scored in this game. I mean, I could be wrong. If Atlanta, I mean, the thing that will change that quickly if this game starts and Atlanta's running game is just going off. I'm not concerned about their passing game because Kirk has not been great. Kirk is, if we're pressuring him, we're gonna get after him, bro. So unless they get Bijan really going, which could definitely happen, we've struggled against the run as well. Bijan is the only guy that really scares me in this offense. I think Drake London does not frighten me because we do really well against guys like that. I'm not worried about him. We'll have a spy or a deep safety kind of bracketing him the whole game, and it's really about these tight ends that are eating us over the middle. And when it comes to the red zone, can we get after Kirk to not let him deliver the ball to those secondary options, the Ray McLeods, the Darnell Mooneys, because those are the guys. It's like against the Bills, it was never Stephon Diggs just absolutely destroying us. He always sucked against us. It was always the other secondary options that were the Dawson Knox is scoring touchdowns and all those other guys.
Yeah,
it's really can our other guys stop those secondary options because we know we're going to shut down their top option and stop in that running game. And if we do that, and if we put up 24, that's enough to beat this team, in my opinion.
Let's do two key players and then let's get to our score prediction. Trevor, who are your two key players?
Dude, I'm going to keep going back to it, and it's hit back-to-back weeks. It's Rashee Rice in this game. I'm going to keep going back to it. That's my guy in this game. He's the number one passing option in this offense right now, and I love it. I think he's becoming a star in this league. He really, really is. The guy is getting 9+ targets both back-to-back weeks. I love seeing it. He's the engine of this offense right now, in my opinion, especially now with Pacheco out of the picture. We're going to depend on him being that much more. I think he might get like a rush attempt or something like that because I think he could be that kind of guy, that kind of not Debo-esque, but he can get like an end around kind of rush attempt. I can see him doing that. He's great with with the ball in his hands. So I think he's going to eat over the middle. I think we're going to find ways to get him the ball. Same with Xavier Worthy, but I think Rashee Rice offensively is my guy. I'm going right back to the well in this one for the third straight week. And defensively, I think Nick Bolton is a get right Nick Bolton game. I think he gets him a sack. I think he stuffs the run really well in this game. I think we're going to have to stop the run. This just feels like a Nick Bolton kind of game because we don't have to worry about we don't have to worry about the escapability of Kirk Cousins. We don't have to worry about him throwing on the run or rolling out anyway like that. So I think this is a game where Nick Bolton can really kind of hold his own in the middle of the field and take away certain plays over the middle of the field, maybe spy kind of play that, that spy on Kyle Pitts, maybe get him a pick. Who knows, a tipped pick or something like that. I could see Kirk Cousins fucking up over the middle and getting a ball where Nick Bolton tips it or catches the ball off of a tip from Tranquil or one of the defensive linemen or something like that. I just think this just feels like a Nick Bolton game because we've been kind of down on him, and this feels like a get-right spot for him and a run-first offense that he's going against, and I think he's going to really pin his ears back and get after that run game. So I'm going with my guy Nick Bolton here, man.
I like that. I think it's look, it all starts with Patrick Mahomes and obviously him having a big game in this one, which I do expect. People forget also that before last season, Patrick Mahomes only had 2 losses against the NFC in his career. Now he's a horrible record of 20-5.
Oh, no.
And that doesn't even include the 3-1 record in Super Bowls. So, I'm expecting a dominant performance for Patrick Mahomes. I think, like I said, he throws the ball for over 40 times. I think he flirts with over 350 passing yards and a few touchdowns. I really do.
I'll take that for fantasy purposes.
The reason why that's going to happen this week is because obviously, yes, I'm with you in lockstep that I think Rashi every week now is just a guy that's going to get you 70, 75 yards. But I think this is the week where, it kind of gets put to bed because you heard Travis on his New Heights podcast.
Sure.
He's hearing the noise. And I think this is the type of matchup that would favor the Chiefs to finally start putting the ball in his hands. I think Travis is going to get 7-8 receptions for 75 to 85 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
It's going to be that week where okay, he's still there. They're just, pacing him. And I think this is the week where they can really use some help, getting some things going, moving the ball because they're not going to have the run game that they're accustomed to having with Isaiah Pacheco. So I'm going to say Travis Kelce's my key player, and I think when he starts going, you're going to see this offense really start to cook, and other guys are going to start getting open. I will say this, though, however, I'm making a prediction. Nicole Hardman has a touchdown this game. I think Nicole Hardman either has a big, drop back 65-yard touchdown or one of those red zone jet sweep type of. I think he just, for whatever reason,
he finds the end zone. He's always been great at it.
And against NFC opponents, it's weird.
Oh, that's true.
And against NFC opponents, McCole just does things.
Especially
49ers multiple times. He's done things like this. Against the Saints, that back end zone touchdown in 2020.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, McCole shines against NFC
true.
teams.
That's true.
So I'm gonna give McCole a touchdown in this game. My defensive player, I'm gonna shock you, Trevor. I'm gonna agree with you wholeheartedly. I think it's Nick Bolton. He has to start.
It just
getting better.
feels like a Nick Bolton game, man.
And the biggest thing is, you call it a sack and all this. I'm actually talking about the other side of it. This is a game we need to see Nick Bolton play in pass pro because for whatever reason, Spack keeps throwing him out there on third downs. It's pissing me off. But yes, the first 2 games of the season, the Chiefs have gotten cooked unlike any other team against tight ends.
Yeah.
This has to be a week where they say, look, we know Kyle Pitts is the guy that Kirk's going to throw the ball to. We have to stop it or at least slow it down.
Yeah.
I want to see Nick Bolton be a part of that, a pass block, defensive plays. Kyle gets a 5-yard screen and he blows him up right there. I don't want to see that what he saw against Isaiah Likely where he catches the ball and Nick Bolton gets the big eyes, he gets shook, and he runs for a touchdown. I want to see him blow the play up.
Yeah.
Sometimes guys going to catch a ball, fine. But whenever Pitts gets the ball, I want to see arms wrapped around him with 3-2 on the jersey, bringing him to the ground. That's what I want to see.
I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities for Nick Bolton to make some big plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially a run-first offense. I think Nick Bolton could be one of those guys that we know he can stuff the run.
Yeah.
We've seen him single-handedly stop Derrick Henry in games and shut his ass down.
Right.
Multiple times. So Bijan is a little more elusive than Derrick Henry, so Bijan frightens me to a degree. But I think Nick's gonna be up for the challenge. I love that we're both on board with Nick Bolton this week.
And Shamari, please quit overshooting on the flat, dude.
Yeah.
You whiffed way too many times on the flat, my brother.
He's a wild horse.
He
He's not broken yet.
Love the kid.
I love his upside, dude. What he could become if he kind of reins it in a little bit and gets a little more control of his angles. The kid is gonna be a beast.
Quit whiffing. That's the thing. Jabari Carter is a home run hitter.
He's so
Swings
young.
for the fences every single time, but when he connects, holy shit!
Oh, yeah, we saw in that blitz,
right?
That safety blitz, bro. That Spags drew up. He's going to be a part of a lot of those. We can see another one of those this week.
Well, and another reason I'm actually big on Patrick Mahomes having a big game is that we know that this is his 99th start, if I'm not mistaken. And there's records to be had. I think he's 1 touchdown away from breaking Aaron Rodgers' record for most touchdowns in 100 starts. So I think Patrick wants to kind of set himself apart. We know that stuff matters. I know winning is what matters most. But in a game like this, like I said, when Pacheco's not going to be there, I think they're going to try to, like, you know what? We're going to run the ball through the air. I think I'm taking the under on the rush attempts, not including Patrick Mahomes. I think Patrick Mahomes will run a couple times in this game to move the chains.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying, I think Carson Steele, Samaje Perine, Ingram, they all get like 6-7 carries each. I think Steele will probably get the majority, probably like 10 to 12 rushes, but the other guys get a few here and there.
I think Steele's going to get his fair share of opportunities this game. I really do.
We'll see about that. If he does, then great. But I'm going to take the over in the scoring in this one, Trevor. I think in a dome, I think the Chiefs are just going to utilize their speed. They're going to be electric in this one. They're going to be sharper offensively. Now that they know they're not playing against a juggernaut AFC team they may see in the playoffs again, we know how the Chiefs play. When they play against teams early in the year, they know they're going to probably see the postseason again, or maybe see the postseason. Yeah. They don't show their cards as much.
But you're taking the over because you expect Atlanta to put up points. See, that's where I'm hung up. I know we're going to put up some points.
But I'm saying, okay,
I don't think Atlanta's going to be able to.
It's 46 and a half. So the Chiefs scored 27.
I don't think Atlanta breaks 20.
Okay, well that's the thing that I expect the Chiefs to score over 30. I think the over is getting hit in this game.
Right.
I do. I think that this game's going to actually be in the 50s total. And then the reason, like I said, is the majority of it's going to be scored by the Chiefs. I think that the Falcons will get some sucker points, some garbage time points. But that's where I have it at. I think that you're going to see the Chiefs, like I said, look a lot sharper offensively. It's going to force the Falcons to play a little bit more of an up-tempo offense. Bijan Robinson's going to get a hell of a lot of usage in this game because I think he's going to be open a lot in the flat, and he's going to get some yardage, things of that nature. I think Bijan's going to have a hell of a game.
He should. The kid's great, man.
What's your score prediction for this one?
I'm going to say Chiefs 24-17.
Okay, so
yeah,
very standard.
I don't like Atlanta scoring more than 20. I think our defense. I think Kirk's going to make some mistakes coming off that heroic win. I think he's going to fall back down to earth. I think our defense is going to be on his ass, putting him on his ass. Yeah. So I think, I like our defense in this game a lot. I like our defense honestly more than I like our offense. I think this is a get right spot for our offense as well. I think if getting Travis Kelce going, getting the juice going with him is important, and I think Rasheed's going to score again. But I don't think we're going to need to put up that much points. I think our defense is going to be on it. So I like 24-17.
Yeah, the Chiefs are going to win this game 34-20. I think that they're going to, like I said, I think they're going to put up points. I think that the Falcons are going to struggle to score points early or often in this game.
Yeah.
But they will get a late game touchdown. But I'm with Nick Wright on this one. I was before he even said it, I was feeling this. But he believes this is going to be a 2-touchdown game. I believe it's a 2-touchdown game. I've been saying that a lot this year already, where I think the Chiefs have just left a lot of meat on the bone. This week, you're going to see a reflection off that bone. I think the Chiefs go out there and score 4 touchdowns and 2 field goals, and they get this game. I really believe it.
Dude, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I will lose money on betting the under, but I will gladly lose it in that kind of fashion.
Yeah, I think this is that game. Like I said, week 3, week 4 is when the Chiefs start to turn it on a little bit. They start facing lesser opponents. I think you're going to see in a dome after a frustrating win. There's a frustrating win. Let's be real. You saw the stats, and they don't deny.
Yeah, we escaped.
Patrick gets 2 after 2 interception games. Goes the fuck off. I think he goes the fuck off in this game. Has over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. One of those classic Patrick Mahomes games. He may even have one of those little shovel touchdowns that he likes to throw. And I think you're going to see them score
just
in the
bonus,
30s.
A bonus prop in this game. And I think Carson Steele scores.
I like that.
I think he scores.
I said 3, not 4 on Patrick throwing. So there's 4 touchdowns.
I think he scores a red zone,
yeah.
a goal, a first and goal, second and goal, third and goal. I think we feed him in that. I think he's going to get in the end zone.
Why not?
Yeah, I think the kid scores.
I like it too. 34-20. Trevor's got 24-17. We see this game going very differently, other than the fact we have the Chiefs going 3-0 to start the season.
Yeah.
So that's our prediction. We'd love to hear your guys' give us your guys' scoring prediction. Who are some key players for you guys in this game? We love all of that, and it's a perfect timing because now it's time for Speak It. Trevor, what are people saying?
All right, man. So we got Nicholas on X, Twitter. I'm going to call it Twitter. I always call it Twitter. Fuck it. Do you think Kareem Hunt can be here long-term as an RB2 when Pacheco returns later this year? If he returns later this year. I think Kareem, yeah. I mean, go ahead.
No, you guys already know my stance. I am a lot more optimistic on this than maybe a lot of people are. And it's only because of the fact that I believe
that poll says otherwise. The poll seems people are pretty high on
41%.
Kareem Hunt, man.
And that's why I really do believe that is that Kareem doesn't have this long history of injuries. And the only thing he's had surgery-wise, it was over a year now. He's recovered from that. He's still young enough to be a performer. Like I said, he's a better, bigger athlete than Jerick McKinnon was. We saw what Jerick McKinnon did in his late 20s and early 30s in this offense. Yeah. I don't see why Kareem Hunt can't replicate that. And I think if he continues to keep his nose clean, like I fully anticipate he will, I think he's going to be in the good graces with the Chiefs. He's one of those players that belongs. And I think that you're going to see if and when he has a big year this year, in the context of what he's supposed to do in this offense, I think you're going to see the Chiefs bring him back next year. I think that Kareem Hunt's, he's probably done with those long-term deals, so he can get himself a series of one-year deals with the Chiefs where he plays in his early 30s with the Chiefs and then probably retires. And then maybe, potentially one day becomes a Ring of Honor kind of guy in the
Gets
office.
himself a ring or two with the
That's what I'm
Chiefs.
saying.
Bro, that'd be a wild.
I would love the story of
What a
that, man.
story
For
that
that
would
to
be.
finally have a full circle redemption story. You guys know I will never agree with what the Chiefs did to him, but I love the opportunity he gets again. And I think if he plays here for another 2 or 3 years, helps this team win a couple championships, puts up some yards, scores some touchdowns, I think he's a Ring of Honor kind of guy because we saw what he did in his first 2 seasons here in Kansas City. There's not many running backs in this franchise's history that are better than Kareem Hunt. And I will always die on this hill, Trevor. And I told you in our group chat, if Kareem Hunt had played in this offense over the last 5-6 years, I believe he's already the best running back in Chiefs history.
I mean, we got Christian McCoy, Larry Johnson, Priest Holmes. That's some rich
Jamal
history.
Charles.
Jamal Charles, obviously.
I mean, I think Jamal Charles skill-wise might be better than Kareem, but here's the thing, dude. Kareem, he showed us early and often in his career. When his rookie season, he led the league in rushing. In his second year, he was about to have one of the greatest years of all time. So I have no reason to believe he wasn't going to be maybe the greatest of all time in Chiefs history. He was on his way, dude. So he was only 23 years old when they cut him. Like, he had another 5-6 great seasons ahead of him in this offense. It just sucks it never happened. But I still think there's enough juice in the tank for him to be that RB2 in this offense behind Pacheco. And let's be real, guys. And I hated being the one that told you guys this a year or 2 years ago. Pacheco's career is not going to last very long.
No, he
has a series of injuries. So get ready for Pacheco to be a guy that gets
style of play
soon.
is very dangerous.
Yeah, I hate to say
and
this,
he's
guys.
not built for that kind of play.
There's a better chance that
Plays
Isaiah
bigger than he
Pacheco's
is.
best football is either behind him or right now. Like, I don't think he's going to be a guy that 28, 29 years old.
This was supposed to be a big year for Isaiah, man. It sucks.
Yeah, it really sucks.
But I'm not, like I love him. I'm not the biggest Isaiah guy, though. I think he's a very replaceable caliber kind of running back, in my opinion, especially in this offense. I mean, this offense finds ways to get production from running backs, no matter who they are or what name it is on the back of that jersey. We always find when Damian Williams is a hero in Chiefs lore.
Even Darrell Williams was good.
A guy that was cut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Darrell Williams, Spencer Ware, Charkandrick West. Like, these are not big names, bro. These are guys that were cut from practice squads on some of the Charkandrick West. Yeah,
I mean, for God's sakes, Harrison Butker was a practice squad guy.
This is
what Brett Veach does, bro.
It's the Brett Veach and Andy Reid effect.
Yeah.
Dustin Orton, I like this question. How many games would it take for you to call Caleb Williams a bust?
I usually give the guy at least a season. Even last year with Bryce Young, I didn't like what I saw, and I was pretty confident he was a bust, but I was like, give the whole season.
That's held up.
And and Bryce Young's clearly a bust. I will say that I think that Caleb Williams is getting a little unfairly criticized because of the fact there were several plays where he had touchdowns either called back, or he had guys drop touchdowns. There's been a lot of opportunities that Caleb didn't get. He's also the way his OC's been running, and I listened to Baldy's breakdowns this week, Brian Baldinger, he defended Caleb. He said, if you look at the way they run plays on third down, it doesn't make sense.
It's Eberflus, bro. He's on it. I mean,
well, it's their offensive coordinators not setting up Caleb for success. So I think there's a lot of things outside of Caleb. I'm not making excuses for Caleb because he needs to play better, but there's a lot of calls that don't make sense. And again, he's had guys drop passes that are in the end zone. They're on the money. So I'm still not in the belief Caleb's even near a bust yet. I think he's going to be a really good player in this league. I just think that it's going to be a little bit of a slower progression than some other guys out there.
Yeah, and I think as great a situation on paper as it looks like it is for Caleb, with obviously the talent on the offensive line is dreadful.
Yeah.
He has no time to make plays, and he's such a great off-script quarterback, but they're depending on him as a rookie to do that. Now, that's a lot to ask. He's on the run consistently. He's one of the most pressured quarterbacks in the league. His throws have been off. He hasn't looked great. I will say that for sure. Him and DJ Moore's connection is not there yet. DJ Moore looks very frustrated, who I believe is an elite talent in this league at receivers, just constantly put in terrible situations. I think this is obviously the best quarterback he's probably ever going to play with. But they got to protect Caleb, man. I'm not going to call a quarterback a bust when he's got an awful offensive line and a defensive-minded head coach. This is not the best situation for him. I think this is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of growing pains for him this year. But I like Caleb. I think he's an extremely highly talented guy. And I do not believe, even if he goes this whole season and is not good and they only win like 4 or 5 games, I'm not calling him a bust yet. Yeah. You got to give that kid time to make plays. And I think plays are to come for that team. That is a very good defensive team over there right now, and they have no running game. Swift sucks in my opinion, so I think they got to really figure out the running game and find a balanced attack for him to really get comfortable. And him losing Keenan Allen week 1 didn't help anything either. Rome Odunze's banged up. So once things kind of get together and his situation gets a little bit better over there, I think he's going to be a great football player in this league. So I'm not ready to call him a bust in any way. Lonnie Pyramid, what's up, Lonnie? Guys in the run of the Falcons where we need to start as far as showing them down. Guys, is the run of the Falcons where we need to start as far as slowing them down? So I think he's talking about as far as slowing the Falcons' offense down starts with the run. Of course, they're a run-first offense. Kirk Cousins has not been any kind of world beater at quarterback so far this year.
But their offense is predicated on the play action.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins his bread and butter is play action. So yeah, if the Chiefs are stifling the run game, if you don't see Bijan getting those 6-7 yard rushes or Algier getting picking up a 3rd and 4. If you don't see those types of plays, Kirk Cousins is going to be very limited in this game. He's going to be in shotgun all game long, and that's exactly where you want him. You don't like it when Kirk Cousins is under center, dropping back, act like he's going to run it or have a run play, and then swings out to the right side, boots one out to the outside. That's when they're in rhythm. So, yes, I am lockstep with Lonnie on this one. That has got to be where the Chiefs stop it. Luckily, the Chiefs have been way better against the run this season than the past so far this year. So I do expect that is where the Chiefs will predicate their defense on counteracting the Falcons' offense.
Hence our Nick Bolton point. I think this is a Nick Bolton game. He's got to. We need him in this game.
He needs to have like a 13-14 tackle game.
Absolutely, and stuff and runs. Dustin Orton, what matchup have we have worries about the most as far as matchups in this game? I think it's got to be clearly Kyle Pitts. I mean, the Chiefs secondary has been getting shredded by the tight ends over the middle. We've allowed way too much production. We made Gesicki look like a star. We made Isaiah Likely.
It hasn't really been their secondary though. It's been the
well, yeah, just the second level of our defense, the middle of the field. Yeah, we've allowed it. Honestly, it's intentional. It feels like though we have allowed a lot of production because we've been focusing like the Ravens game. We took out their number one weapon in the passing game, which is Mark Andrews. Absolutely took him out of the game.
And Zay Flowers, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's true. But that's because Lamar was just straight up.
They shut Zay Flowers down.
Lamar was missing Zay Flowers.
Yeah,
he should have scored a touchdown.
He was wide open. Yeah.
My God, that was not a Zay Flowers issue. That was Lamar's issue.
Yeah, that's true.
But we shut Mark Andrews down. He bracketed the entire time. We shut Jamar Chase's ass down once again. McDuffie is the better player at this point in those matchups. My God, the kid's insane. But this is what we do. We take away the number one option. So I think we're going to absolutely neutralize Drake London this game. So that's what makes me worried about Kyle Pitts over the middle. He could possibly eat. As long as he's not scoring touchdowns, I'm fine with him getting some production. But I think the matchup I'm worried about is Kyle Pitts. I mean, what he could do, because there's a lot of upside after the catch with Kyle Pitts. He's an incredible athlete. So I think that's the matchup I would be worried about. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
No, I'm lockstep with you, but if I'm going to take it to the offensive side, then I want to see what the Chiefs' running game is going to do in this one.
Or Isaiah Simmons is going to get another fucking pick.
I'm more worried about the Chiefs' run game though, because Isaiah Pacheco is a massive loss. And I know everybody wants to crown Carson Steele as this next Mike Allstott. I'm not yet. I have my concerns. I've seen him play a few meaningful snaps and he's already got a fumble. I want to see him produce. And if he can produce, it's going to shut me up and I'm going to ride the alligator like everybody else is. So I want to see what Carson Steele, if he's going to get the bulk of the carries, he's going to be the guy this week. I want to see a guy being productive. I don't want to hear excuses. I want to see production.
Yeah, don't be surprised if he has a couple catches too in this game. The kid's actually a sneaky, really good pass catcher, and he was really good in college at catching the ball. So I think there's some production out there for Steele to have, but if he fumbles again, that's where we're going to have a question. But you saw him fumble last week, and the Chiefs went right back to him and gave him goal line carries. So I mean, I think Andy Reid has trust in this kid. I think he likes a lot of the upside. I think there is an upside to be had. Next question from Lonnie Pyramid: can we say that was one of the worst games by Showtime in his career? Talking about the past game against the Bengals, it was a rough game for Pat for sure. He was not good.
I actually do think that's Patrick's worst game of his career.
And it had to be the fucking Bengals, man.
Yeah, that's my point.
Always the Bengals, bro.
It drives me absolutely. I mean, there was, like I said, that first
Anarumo
pick
is a great DC, man. I'll give him that.
That first pick just made no sense. He's in a clean pocket, looking right at the linebacker and threw it right to him. I was like, dude, it almost looked like that's what he was trying to do. The second one, Cam Taylor-Bright just made a great play.
That was an insane
But
play.
Even that was an underthrown ball.
It was.
So Patrick played like dog shit, dude.
He knows that. You think we know that? He knows that.
That's why this man's going to go off this week.
I love it. I hope so. Tony Russell, what's up with Kingsley Suamataia's pass blocking? Horrible. Shake my head.
Hey, look, this is what I was trying to tell you guys earlier. These are the growing pains right now for a young left tackle that's been thrown in the fire.
He was getting cooked, man.
Yes,
it happens.
It happens. It's growing pains. If you weren't expecting Kingsley to have some rough games, what were you expecting?
Yeah, man.
Like, he's 21 years old, second-round pick. Like, he's only going to get better.
And again, going up against these two matchups back-to-back weeks, there's not a bigger test for a young kid to go through, man. This is truly baptism by fire.
But I'm telling you, at some point this season, we're gonna sit here and go, we haven't talked about left tackle like a month.
Yeah, the caterpillar is now a butterfly.
What? Wait, is Kingsley good? Like, that's gonna be the conversation we're gonna have by week 8, week 9, just like we did with Rashee Rice. Remember, guys, first 4 or 5 weeks, we're like, where the fuck is this dude? He ain't doing shit. And all of a sudden, week 7, week 8, week 9, oh my God, this guy's awesome. Like yak yards. This is what the Chiefs do with rookies. The rookies that are capable, that are football guys, will flourish with this team, regardless of the defensive or offensive scheme. It's galvanization, guys. They get galvanized and they grow from it, or they choose not to. They crumble. It's really up to them.
Yeah, there's a slight chance he's not the guy. There's a slight chance.
It's his choice, though.
But I'm betting on Andy Reid's knowledge of offensive line skill set for certain players, and I think if Andy believes in the guy, I have no reason but to blindly have faith in that.
Yeah.
So I think Kingsley is going to be fine. I think he's going to be great for us. Next question from Dustin Orton. Think Hill ever returns?
I'm assuming Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
No, I don't, but I would love it. I think that would be a great end to the story, is if Tyreek Hill comes back home for like a 1-year deal.
Next,
it's hard to
next
predict.
year having Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt on the team.
Yeah, if he would decide that extension with the Dolphins,
Yeah.
I would agree. I think that he's going to play. I don't see Tyreek being one of those guys that plays till he's 36, 37.
Yeah.
I think he retires around 34, and he's got, 3 years left on his deal, and he's 30. So
made his money.
The only way I see it is if he's like, I got 1 more year of me, I'm a free agent.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs want to sign me to a 1 year, $8-9 million
You know
deal,
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I'm all about that, bro. I love Tyreek Hill.
I would welcome it too. I just
Yeah.
it would,
Even 34,
yeah.
33-year-old Tyreek Hill is still going to be faster than those
And
guys.
again, I never thought that they would sign Kareem Hunt back, and
That's
here
true.
we are. So
That's
I'm
true.
rooting for it. Let me put it like that. I'm rooting for it.
It's not going to happen, but I love the thought of it.
And if it does, like I said, it'll be at the very end of his career.
It's okay. Tyreek Hill's better over there, right? It's fine. Bump a BB. Thoughts on Wanya and Kingsley rotating this week? I'd rather just play one the entire game.
I don't buy that. I know that's been the report.
That's been the report. Yeah.
I don't buy it. I don't think that's going to actually happen. That is a very dumb decision. If that's what Andy Reid's doing, that's a very dumb decision, because you're not going to have either guy in rhythm. Why would you do that? It makes no sense at all. So, and Wanya, I don't care what anybody tries to tell me, Wanya is not a left tackle. Wanya is a guard. It has been clear as day. He is a terrible tackle.
He scored a touchdown, Lance.
Yes, he's a receiver then. How about that? But he is not a fucking left tackle. And I don't know what else to tell you guys. Like, he doesn't have the talent for it. He's not good there. So if this is what the Chiefs end up doing, they're only doing themselves a disservice. They're only doing Kingsley a disservice, because he's supposed to be the left tackle of the future. Let him go out there. Let him get his snaps. Don't have him in and out of the freaking lineup like Taysom Hill and Derek Carr. That's dumb.
No, I agree. I mean, if Kingsley is having another rough game and they got to sit him down, I get that. But at the same time, I think you immediately suit him up and start him as the guy this week. You don't look back. And I do agree, though, with Bumpa. I think you stick with one guy the entire game. I do think that. But I don't think it's going to be Wanya. I don't think Wanya has earned the job by any means. But, yeah, there's not going to be a rotation. I don't think they're going to be rotating these guys in different one guy gets one drive, one guy gets another sequence. I don't think that's
Kingsley's going to do fine, and they're not going to want to move him out.
Yeah. I agree. I think I'm with you on that. Justin Orton, since Halloween is right around the corner, what is the number one candy and what is the worst candy? Gotta love random speakets.
This is easy. Anything Reese's.
Anything chocolate.
Preferably like the pumpkin.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it is. Like the chocolate to peanut butter ratio on a regular Reese's isn't good for me. But like any like holiday Reese's is unbelievably fire.
Oh yeah.
And so anything Reese's, and I'll give you, so my power rankings like Skittles, Mike and Ike's.
Yeah, I'm not that guy.
Anything like that.
It's all chocolate for me.
Chocolate preferably, though. Like that's it off the cuff. Reese's. The worst, it's not even fucking close.
You're gonna say candy corn.
Candy corn. That shit is, burn it all. That shit is demonic. That is, what are we doing? You're eating candle wax. It is ass. That stuff's horrible, dude.
Low key, one of my favorite Halloween candies is the dark chocolate Milky Ways.
Oh, yeah.
The dark chocolate with the nougat, bro. My goodness, that is. And I'm also
Snickers.
I'm a coconut guy too, so I do love my almond joys. Not a lot.
Yeah, I like
not a
Almond
lot of people like the almond joys, but I love my almond joys, especially like the dark. I'm a dark chocolate guy.
Anything
so-
chocolate, anything.
Yeah. So even those dark chocolate Reese's, the white chocolate Reese's,
dude.
the white chocolate Reese's,
Dark
too,
chocolate
bro.
Hershey's
Telling you,
with
man.
the almonds in it.
Or those, I like the spooky. I'm not a big Twix guy, but those spooky Twix ones,
Yeah.
the green, like the they look like
Bring
the-
all that
the
shit on.
lime green colored ones.
Yeah.
Those are cool. Those are fun.
But give me all the Reese's, Butterfingers. I love Butterfingers.
Of course.
Yeah, but like
Snickers.
if you want like any
Snickers.
Sour Patch, I love Sour Patches.
Yeah, I'm all. I don't.
We haven't eaten candy forever here, man. It's been a long time.
I do partake though. Halloween time, I do.
It's gonna be a cheat day.
My kids, man, I snipe their chocolates.
Yes.
It's a fun question. Thank you, Dustin, for that question. Let's see. James T. Kirk. Why do certain media members love to criticize Mahomes' QB play? Lamar was the MVP last season. All I hear are crickets.
Well, because there's only one guy that's coming for the GOAT throne, and it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, no one sees Lamar in the same.
I hate to bring him up because I
tier
know
as
James doesn't like
Patrick.
him, but there's the only reason why people hate on LeBron James because he's the one that came for the GOAT.
Yeah, criticism heavy as the crown, baby.
Why do you think people love Carmelo Anthony and Allen Iverson? Because you can love them from a distance because they know they were never the greatest player ever.
They were great for what they were.
Yeah, everybody. Oh yeah, they were fun. They were cool.
great, not the greatest.
Yeah, they're not the greatest. They weren't the one that threatened the GOAT.
Yep.
So that's why people always look for something to hate on Patrick Mahomes because they know this guy's not even. He just turned 29 this week. Already has 3 Super Bowl victories, 3 MVPs in the Super Bowl, and 2 regular season MVPs, and he's just getting started.
Yeah.
So they know, fuck, this is the guy that is going to dethrone Tom Brady. So that's why people try to find stuff.
Agreed. Shaggy Shane in the chat.
Yo.
Are the Nolans Saints for real?
I think we briefly touched on this. I will say that right now I'm going to give them a respect. Could they be a playoff team? Yes. They play the NFC and particularly the NFC South. But do I? I'd have to ask Shaggy what he means by for real. If you're asking me, do I think
Contenders?
I don't think they're legit contenders. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. I don't think they
contenders
can
in the NFC at this point.
I don't think they're going to get far to in the playoffs. I don't trust Derek Carr, and I don't trust Dennis.
Sure.
I don't trust Dennis Allen. I think they can make the playoffs.
Clint Kubiak is coaching his ass off.
Yeah,
there.
but I
His
don't.
scheme has been incredible.
I don't buy this. I don't buy this team for a 20-week sample.
Yeah,
I buy them for a 10 to 12.
That's
week
not how
sample.
the NFL works.
Yes,
they're going to figure. Defenses are going to. They've caught the league off guard.
Yes,
Clint Kubiak has caught the league off guard and has molded the offense around Derek Carr's skill set, and it's beautiful.
Yes,
the play action, the pre-snap motions, Alvin Kamara looking like prime Alvin Kamara all of a sudden is awesome to see. I love that dude. He had a 3-touchdown week last week. Love seeing that. That dude is incredible. Could have had 4 touchdowns last week, but they sat him down because it was a blowout win again. This is a fun team, man.
Yeah.
When the Saints are good, that's good for the NFL.
Yes.
It's a great fan base. I low-key have love for the Saints because my Cajun roots and my bloodline. I always kind of like rooting for them. I loved Drew Brees growing up. So it's a fun team. But Dennis Allen, I can't stand him. But I love Clint Kubiak. I love the Kubiak coaching tree. I love the Shanahan coaching tree. They just pump out great offenses. And they have Rashid Shaheed doing his best, just running in a straight line and just burning the DBs, and Derek Carr is just putting them on the money. And they have Chris Olave hasn't even started eating yet.
Right.
So there is untapped potential, even as great as this offense has been. Untapped potential with Olave starting to get in the mix over the slot and over the middle and things like that with some dig routes and some quick slants. This offense, I think this offense is for real. Them as a contender, I'm definitely pumping the brakes on that. But them as a for real team that's going to win a lot of games this year, I think they're looking at a lot of wins this year because scoring's down. They've kind of got a foot up on the competition right now as far as putting up points. They're the highest scoring offense in the league right now. They've scored on every single possession. Even if they come down to earth a little bit and they score on 75% of their possession, that's still an elite offense.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So they're scoring on 100% of their possessions right now, which is an insane pace that they're on right now. But it will fall back down to earth. And but I mean, listen, man. Week 1 was against the Panthers. Obviously, that blowout didn't mean anything. But then they went and did that to the Cowboys, which was a surprising win. The way they did it. So if they can continue to beat good teams, I think we need to start taking them for real. But I think as of right now, the offense is definitely for real because Clint Kubiak is a genius. But if they start racking up like injuries or things like that, and Derek Carr starts kind of playing like Derek Carr again and having some pumpkin games, which is likely, it's going to happen, here soon at some point. But I love what I'm seeing out of Kamara, though. I think he's kind of the engine of that offense.
Oh yeah.
So I think if he continues to play the way he does, It's going to be a fun team. I think they can definitely. I mean, obviously, they've already exceeded my expectations. I did not think they were going to be good to this degree, but they're fun. That's a good question, Shag. Thank you, man. Next question is from Julia Gulia.
Hey.
Just get back into the Kingsley conversation. Can this be a Kingsley bounce back game?
Oh, you know where I stand. Where do you stand, Trevor?
It has to be. I mean, I'm not expecting him to be great. It's going to be a slow growing process for the kid. This is another tough matchup. I mean, this defensive line is loaded too.
Is Grady Jarrett playing?
I don't know, but I know Matthew Judon is still alive and out there. I mean, that guy is scary as hell. Still in the prime of his career. Still one of the better edge rushers and guys that getting after the quarterback in this game. So, this defense is loaded, and Kingsley's going to have his hands full again. But I do expect he can't be much worse than he was last week, bro. Last week was rough for him. Yeah. He was getting destroyed. Hendrickson was just eating his lunch. So and we're not facing Anarumo either, who's just for some reason just knows how to play the Chiefs well, no matter who we got on the field out there. He's just a great DC, man. I got to give him credit. And his adjustments are some of the best in the game, especially halftime adjustments. He knows how to keep you guessing the offensive side. So this has to be a bounce back game for Kingsley. I think, like I said, it couldn't be much worse than last week. If he's better than last week, I'll call that a bounce back game. And I think Kingsley is a superior talent. I think he's a superior athlete. So I expect him to win more battles this week than lose than he did last week. So I'm definitely on board for a bounce back game for Kingsley. James T. Kirk, would you give Pop an extension next season? Trevor, I know your answer, but realistically, doesn't he deserve a raise? I'm not paying running backs. I'm just not. I mean, it depends. I mean, if the money is like, okay, we pay him like a 7th rounder, then so be it. But we always find production out of the running backs, and we can. And no offense to Pacheco, man, love the kid. I dearly love him. He's near and dear to my heart for him, who he is, and his heart for this game. But we can go draft another 5th, 6th, 7th round running back next year and be fine.
Yep.
It just is what it is. It's business, baby.
Andy Reid knows how to keep production. It's cutthroat, but you've seen it clear as day.
And especially if Kareem comes in and balls.
Yeah, you've seen it clear as day. The Chiefs are utilizing Pacheco to get all those hard-earned yards and things of that nature because they know that you have to hit the rock while it's hit the iron while it's hot.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Pacheco's 25. And
already racked up a bunch of injuries.
His body, I mean, every single year of his career, he's been
kid's
injured.
A warrior.
Yeah,
without question.
So those injuries are going to catch up. And I've had this talk with a couple people in my personal life that have asked me this question. And look, the only way the Chiefs can get an extension done with Pacheco, if 2 things are possible. They get him on a 2-year deal to extend him, so it makes it 3 years because he has 1 year left on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
And it's less than $8 million a year. There's no way they're paying him $10, $12, $13 million, even though that's probably what his market would be set at.
I don't think anyone's paying him that.
I'm not saying they will. I'm saying, though, that if you look at the market of running backs that are proven commodities in their mid to late 20s.
Super Bowl winner, back-to-back Super Bowl winner.
You're getting $10+ million a year, and he's not getting that in Kansas City.
I think the league views him differently than the Chiefs fans do. I honestly do. I don't think he's looked at like as a top-tier running back in this league by any means. I think if he was anywhere else in the Chiefs, he wouldn't have the production that he has on. I think the Chiefs have. I think
he would play well in Pittsburgh. Cleveland, like smash mouth.
Obviously, you put him on the Niners, he's going to thrive.
Ravens, I think he'd play well. The Ravens, I think he'd play. Sure. There's a few teams.
Niners, Vikings, those kind of schemes that create space for the running backs, and zone run blocking, things like that. Yeah, sure. I don't think the Chiefs pay him though. To answer your question, James T. Kirk. I don't think they pay him. I think it's business. We shake hands and hope the best for him, but he's a very replaceable player.
If he had a very big year, let's say he didn't break his fibula this year,
sure,
and he had a monster 1,700 yard season total with like 15, 16 touchdowns, yeah, I think they pay him. They probably get him like a 2 or 3 year deal worth $8 to $9 million a year.
Yeah,
and then they have he's 28. But I don't think that's
and this really sucks this year too because I think he was really going to be heavily involved in the passing game this year. We were already starting to see it. He had several targets both weeks, so it was really good. I was hoping that his ceiling was going to be he was going to tap into some new potential this year. I really believed that before the injury, but it just sucks, man. He's just a guy that just the way he plays, the way he runs, he's very reckless. He's a great ball security guy though. He doesn't fumble very much. He's good at that, but he puts himself in very rough. He takes tackles he probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
He should. He just yeah, he runs like he's 250 pounds. He runs at people like he's 250 pounds. He's not Marshawn Lynch. You know what I mean? But love the kid, but I just don't. Those are the kind of guys we just kind of part ways with at the end of it. So last question from our guy Ruben DeCruz. Guys, do you see Veach bringing in or trading for a wide receiver?
Do I want that? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Because we see the way that Brett Veach utilizes or views the wide receiver room. He's very set in his ways after the offseason. I don't see, unless there's a trade that just can't be passed up on, like an Amari Cooper. But we've seen, like I said, other players in the past, including Amari Cooper, get traded for like a 5th-round pick. And I'm like, the hell did the Chiefs get? Where were they at? What the hell? So I think Brett is, unless there's another major injury, I just don't envision it. Would I like that? Yes. I would very much like the Chiefs add another body to this room because, as you can see, like outside of Rashee Rice and some spurts of Xavier Worthy, they don't have a whole lot at wide receiver right now. We were sitting here talking about how this room was going to be deeper, and I did agree with that with Hollywood Brown being here. But now that he's not here, it's very Rashee reliant, man. So, yeah, I would personally like to see them add somebody. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only way we do it is if, like, say Juju gets hurt or something like that. We need another depth piece, and we try to trade for another guy, even though we went and got Juju. But Juju's been a guy who's not been a great bill of health the last couple of seasons, and he's had his knee issues. So if he goes out there and gets hurt in a game or something like that, we need another body. I can see Veach trying to pluck somebody from somebody's practice squad or somebody's, lower. We talked about like the Mechis and the Darius Slaytons and guys like that amongst the league that could easily be plucked from another team that's not a good team or whatever. So I would like to see it bring in a low risk, high reward kind of receiver. I like those kind of moves. And if I was playing Madden, that's the kind of move I would make if I was the GM. But I trust Veach and I trust his analysis and the way he goes about things. And I like this wide receiver room as it is right now. It would really be nice to have Hollywood out there, but it sucks we're not going to have him. And then losing Pacheco on top of that puts a wrench into things and changes probably the game plan of it, what that we were hoping this offense would be moving forward for the rest of the season. But leadership of the team has not failed us yet, so I'm not one to second guess or question whether they make a move or not. But me personally, I would like to see them make a move. But that's the last question, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Chat was awesome today.
You guys are awesome today, as always. We really do appreciate when you guys chime in. It makes the show that much better, that much more enjoyable for all of us. So make sure to jump in every single week, guys, on the chat, whenever we're on the show, off the show, doesn't matter. We want to hear from you guys. So definitely get on YouTube and hit us up there. Trevor, we have one more order of business to get to. What is it called?
Hold this L.
Each every episode, we finish off every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. We promise you, who's ever holding those L's deserve those L's in the world of sports. Trevor Twidwell, who's holding the L for you this week?
All right, man. So as we know, scoring is definitely down this year. A lot more running and a lot more defensive and slower games this year, and and a lot of that has to do with a lot of teams playing more shell off defenses and too high safeties, and it's starting to rub some people the wrong way. And one of those people is one of my favorite guys to listen to. I just love one of the best characters in sports talking media is Mel Kiper Jr. One of the smartest guys when it comes to football and just analysis and, just having him as the white noise in the background when I'm watching the NFL draft every year. It's just something I've grown up with. So I love the guy, respect the guy, but I don't like his take here when it comes to the NFL defensive schemes that have kind of slowed scoring down amongst the league. Just overall scoring being down in general outside of the Saints and the Bucks. They're the only two teams that are kind of bucking that trend, pun intended. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and read this article to you as of right now. The NFL season is off to a slow start with the teams not scoring a lot of touchdowns while they load up on field goals. Teams are averaging just 21.4 points through 2 weeks, which is the lowest scoring has been since averages of 20.6 points per game in 2006. One of the main reasons for that is too high safety defenses that many teams are employing to limit deep passes by some of the strongest armed quarterbacks the sport has ever seen. This is really bothering some people, including ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr., who went on Get Up on Thursday and suggested that that defense was ruining the sport and should be outlawed. I'm just going to go ahead and I could read you what he said in the transcript, but I'm going to go ahead and play the audio if I can get it here. Maybe not. I'm just going to read it to you guys what he said real quick. He goes, well, I grew up with the best of the National Football League in the 60s and 70s into the 80s, Mel Kiper argued. You're talking about the deep shots, the go route, the 9 route, the post. You're talking about Terry Bradshaw and the Super Bowl hitting John Stallworth. You see Leroy Irving diving, right? Just off his fingers. There's the receiver. They laid it out there, right? Hit the receiver in stride, 65-yard touchdown. It's a beautiful thing to watch. That's what I want to see brought back to the National Football League, okay? Check down kings, bubble screen, sensations, boring football, game manager, I get it. I want to see those deep shots. That's what the NFL was built on. I grew up with Johnny Unitas, Frank Tarkenton, Ken Stabler, Daryl LaMonica. You talk about quarterbacks, Joe Namath, Brett Favre, when he was doing what he did, Herb Jones with the Baltimore Colts. You think about those quarterbacks who would thrown the ball down the field. I said what I said. I said what Bradshaw did with Stallworth and Swan, Roger Staubach. That's what I want to see brought back. This is just another one, in my opinion, in all respect to Mel Kiper Jr., man. This is just a very boomer take, in my opinion, a very back in my day kind of take. Talent has never been better than it is in today's game. That's in all sports, in my opinion. Look what Shohei Ohtani is doing right now in baseball. It's uncharted territory what these guys are doing, and baseball is kind of a dying sport in my opinion right now, as far as the way that they're marketing it and the way it's being viewed. But you got Shohei Ohtani doing things that no one's ever done before, So in my opinion, man, that's just it's a very slave of the moment, very woe is me kind of take from a guy that experienced football when it was less talented. If anything, this shows you that defenses are getting better, DBs are getting better, coaches are getting smarter, and it's up to the offensive side of players to outmatch it and figure it out. Yep. We're in a challenge right now. Yes, scoring is down. Yes, they're taking away the deep shots. Yes, it's less exciting. But it's up to the opposing quarterbacks that are struggling right now. It's up to the greats like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen's, Lamar's, these guys that are struggling as far as what their standards are and what they've already done in this league and what we expect from them numbers-wise. It's up for them to figure it out. It's up for Andy Reid. It's up for Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay and all these guys to figure it out and be better. And I fully expect them to do that because that's what they do. And to actually have the audacity to say that these defensive schemes should be outlawed and taken out of the game, that's disrespectful to those defensive players and those DCs, in my opinion, because they figured something out. They've slowed the game down. That is their job, and they're doing it great. Right. So I'm not going to disrespect these great defensive players and the evolution of these DBs in this game because I have nothing but respect for those guys. And what they do, what they put in, having to deal with these elite talent receivers out there that are just so tough to defend, and they're doing their jobs at an elite level right now, and I have nothing but respect for it. So I'm not going to stand here with Mel Kiper Jr. barking about this should be outlawed. That's madness in my mind. So Mel Kiper Jr., do me a solid favor, my guy, with all due respect, and hold this L.
She talked to Peyton Manning about how beating cover twos was artwork for Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning used to dissect cover two.
Absolutely, dude. That's what I'm saying. Great quarterbacks figure it out, and I fully expect that the pendulum to swing back. And I don't know if you saw Aaron Rodgers in the post game after this game against the Patriots. Yep. It was so funny. He was talking about because they were talking about him trying to figure it out with Garrett Wilson. He's like, yeah, well, I mean, he's a great talent. They're trying to take him out, of the game with having the cover two and having a safety over the top, and this is Mel Kiper Jr.'s worst nightmare. It's just so good, man. Nothing like a Aaron Rodgers post game presser, whether you love him or hate him. The guy's always gonna say some shit that's just funny and real slick and sly. So I loved it. I was dying when I saw that, bro.
Yeah, nothing better than Perk Rogers. I'll tell you that. He's on that perk. I'm telling you.
It was my knee.
That's so good. And I was able to go there and play. Trevor and I are big MMA fans, and I know some of you guys are as well. And unfortunately, this last weekend, we saw one of our favorite guys, Sean O'Malley, take an L this week. And I think the mentality of some of these guys and the ego of these guys have sometimes can really override stuff. And, there's always been that tell, take a loss, obviously we're doing that right here, hold this L. And some people take it better than others, and then some others don't. I want you guys to be the judge of where you think our guy Sugar Sean O'Malley falls on this when you watch this video right here. Go ahead and play that, Trevor.
I'm pressuring him and fucking he calls a timeout mid-fight. I about knocked him out or hurry him and got out of the way. Oh, no, I could beat this motherfucker, bro. I won this shit. I literally won that round. That wasn't even that controversial. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Watch Herb step in. Hey, stopping it.
Aljo was about to get out of the cage. Oh, he was flared up. I have it 1-1 going into the third. No bias. It's already way different than I was expecting it, just from what I've been hearing people say. Dude, this round is closer than the first.
Yes. Another one. Smash.
Oh, that could have been the end, bro. If he took a bad shot there, that's the end of the match.
Start picking it up, you know it? Can't say this shit ain't competitive.
Bro, what is this? I mean, the narrative is crazy. I might ask you, see, so will you please put this on YouTube? That one hurt him. That one hurt him. That one fucking hurt him. Round 4.
A little lazy.
Lazy. This motherfucker's holding on for dear life, too, you know? Like, he knows. This is a fucking close fight. 2-2. Going in the 5th.
Dude, I want to know if...
Oh! It should be a 10-8. I won the 1st, 3rd, and 5th round. Rewatch that fight, turn the commentary off, and tell me I did not win that fight.
Look, I've had nothing but, since day one, since I first saw Sugar Sean fight like 6 years ago.
My boy.
I've had nothing but profound respect for him, not just because of his fighting style, not just because of how awesome he is, and you know he's just himself. But there's always been this no bullshit approach where things are what they are to him. And I never thought I would see a video like this from him, of all people, where he's basically denying that he lost when it's clear as day
he lost
this fight. Trevor, go ahead and pull the graphic up real quick of the results, because it went to decision. And so when it goes to decision, you have to go to the scorecard. So let's look at the scorecard here. As you can clearly see, Merab dominated Sean. It wasn't even close. And this is coming from two of the biggest O'Malley fans out there.
Yep.
But Sean got his ass kicked. It may not have been an exciting fight.
No, Merab just did his job, man.
But yeah, Merab did it, and I'm not being funny, Trevor, but he did a very GSP thing where he scored points.
Wasn't nearly as good ground as GSP.
No, but I'm saying it was a GSP style of fight. You take your opponent down,
very
score points, wear him down, and then he's gassed in the 4th round when Sean did land a kick to the liver of Merab, and Merab got hurt. And if Sean had anything left, he probably would have knocked Merab out.
And to Merab's strength here, or to his support, that's what you do against great strikers. You get him on the ground and you wear him out. That's a great plan, man.
Sean could not defend the takedown, so
he wasn't the aggressor.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple. You got your belt taken, bro. So the biggest problem I had with the video, more than anything, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Sean.
He was corny.
Was his fucking enablers? Like all of his buddies were like, "Yeah, man. Oh my god, yeah, he totally won. Yeah." Like, dude,
he was corny.
Y'all are lying to the man. That only makes it worse. That y'all are enabling him. Like, that's so. They just look bad. I'm not giving him an L because of his loss. That happens to everybody.
He's going to be back. He's going to beat Merab in the rematch.
But to sit here and say that you won?
Yeah.
Dude, it's clear as day you lost this fight. It wasn't even a close fight. It was a unanimous decision.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
So for that, I never thought I would do this. My guy, Sugar Sean, you have to do me a solid, man. And until you win the title again, you have to hold the title, because you lost your belt and you're taking it out here on the show, man. So
he'll be better. He'll be back. He'll be better.
He better learn, man, because if he ain't even accepting it as an L, it's going to make it sound like he thinks that, elections are getting stolen. So there's always that too. So you usually don't get better after that. But I digress, because this was a fun show. You guys are awesome. The chat's always live, man. We always have a blast with you guys. I tell you the top of every single show, tell you the bottom of every single show. If you've not already done it, please go to YouTube real quick. Go to the Spoken Podcast. Hit subscribe. Hit notify. Hit share. Hit all those fun things. Hit like. All that helps us big time. But the biggest thing that helps us, man, is when you guys get in the chat. Get in the live chat. Give us your comments, questions, takes, concerns, whatever you guys have. Drop it to us. We want to talk to you. It's a community-driven show here that we do. It doesn't just want to be me and Trevor just being in an echo chamber. We want to hear from you guys as well, not just you guys hearing from us. So go ahead, knock that out real quick, and we do this every single week. So that's all I got to really say today. My voice is still recovering. Next week, I promise you guys we'll be back to full health, but it is a recovery time. But the Chiefs have a lot of recovering to do themselves, and I believe they get this done. I believe they will go 3-0 as they head into Charger week in week 4. But we'll wait and see what happens. This is going to be a fun Sunday slate. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'll give you guys our full slate of predictions of who we think wins each and every game this week, as we do every single week as well, guys. It's the best time of the year. We're almost to creepy season, like I said, guys. October. Can't wait for it, man. We're right there, right at the precipice of the best time of the year. So for Trevor Twidwell, for the great Clay Wither that puts all this together on the back end of things at Red Stripe Cinema, I'm Lance Twidwell. Episode 284 is done, finished, and finito. And so we're back here in 1 week's time with a 3-0 Chiefs talking about trying to go 4-0 against the Los Angeles Chargers. We out of this bitch.
Later.
The Lost Valley.